my ear itches right when it ends. I was just about to like put my whole finger in there, and then it's like, oh, hi guys, we're live. So happy Monday, February 6th. Oh goodness, February. We're already in February. Every time, the more times I say it, the less times it makes sense to me how fast time is flowing. Happy Black History Month. This is our first show in February, so happy Black History Month. I know we celebrate it all the time.
Yes.
But this is the day, this is the month to say it, okay? So today we have a lot of things to talk about and some speed through things, but we do have some awesome guests, some returning, some new. We've got Chelseabytes, JCutt, ProKesadia. I almost did it. And then Omar from BlackNerdProblems. We'll go ahead and give you guys a second to let the people know who you are and where they can find you, or who you are and what you do. Where they can find you, we'll talk about later. But who you are and what you do, just in case they don't know who you are. And we'll go ahead and start with Chelsea.
Hey everybody, I'm Chelseabytes, and I'm a tech-based content creator. I like to build computers. I host for several networks, and I honestly just talk too much. You can catch me on Twitch just playing games Monday through Friday, 11:30 Central in the morning, not at night. I get tired. But thank y'all for having me back.
Of course. And thanks so much for coming after your streams, because people don't know you were just live and then you pop in right after.
It's fun to like tell people to go places when they're actually looking at you. So yeah, I love doing that.
All right, JCutt, tell the people who you are and what you do.
Hey, you guys, my name is JCutt. I own, or I hate to say I'm the CEO of, but JCutt Productions.
Say it. You a CEO? Call
I'm
it
a
out.
CEO.
Yes.
JCutt Productions. I'm an artist, a designer. I did the shirt, all the artwork that's on my walls. Even like this mug. This is I call it Queen Peach because she's a queen. And I'm a designer. I do art and create products and things like that. So it's a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, you claim that, like, stepped on all of our necks with these
Boldly.
backgrounds, you know?
Right.
Thank you.
Boldly. And I recognize the Fifth Element shirt. Okay. I recognize.
You see me?
I see it. All right. Quesadilla, tell the people who you are and what you do.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy ProKesadia. I am a variety caster on Twitch. I do a lot of videos surrounding action RPGs, JRPGs, MMOs, shooters, fighters, indie games, and more. I play it all. I'm known as the jack of all trades. I also do esports commentary, future voice actor, also returning actor. So let's just say your boy's in that media, and we're going to be doing some good things this year.
Okay. Fire. I like that. I like the, you said future voice actor. Okay. Let him know to stay
Working on some
tuned.
things,
Stay tuned. And Omar, who are you and what do you do?
Let me give you the family manners.
Hello
there.
Hey.
Yes.
Co-founder of BlackNerdProblems. I talk about comic books. I do X-Men Storm memes and memes of other heroes and whatnot. I also do performance poetry, and I also do pop culture essays. I'm not sure if I said that twice already, but yeah. And we do that over at BlackNerdProblems. So we have reels and doing videos and things like that, talking about
awesomeness,
comic books and whatnot.
Of course, awesome. And he's the other half of, professional other half, not your like wife other half, but your professional other half.
I don't even specify. Y'all like, take it how you take it. It's been so long.
However, you guys misunderstand what I say. Tiffy Starchild, we've had her on the show a bunch of times. We love her, and she's amazing. And she's in the chat right now. Shout out to you, Tiffy.
I thought you were talking about my partner, Will, my co-founder. That's not my fault. Because I always call him my partner, and I'm like, I'm not even specifying. I'm not even like, yeah.
Whatever it is, anything. It's 2023. It can mean anything. It can mean anything. All right. But we were talking about the illustrious and gorgeous Tiffy Starchild, which we love having her on the show all the time. So we're happy to get her other partner in crime, because through connecting with her, that's how I went to your guys' stream when you guys were talking about Loki, and that's how I found you from her. So it's connections.
He's a connector of all things.
Yes. So really quick, a couple announcements. Just a reminder that memberships are on and active, go ahead and join in. And then also Streamathon. We have a Streamathon that's going to be a 12-hour Streamathon on February 18th. We have games, giveaways. Hold, put the graphic back up. I was reading games, giveaways, special guests, and more. We have a lot of people coming out on the creator side to be a part of a lot of the things that we have. And I am overjoyed and cannot wait to spend those 12 hours with all of them and all of you guys on that day. We're trying to raise money to pay our interns that do a lot of work in producing and getting the show together. And they take a lot of weight off of my shoulders. And I really appreciate that. So we want to raise money to, pay them for what they do. Okay. All right. So starting off February, it's our first show of the month. You know how we like to talk about game releases. We like to talk about movie releases. And we will have the lovely Chelsea go ahead and read the game releases of this month.
Already February starting off pretty interesting. I know we're going to get to Hogwarts Legacy soon, but let's start at the beginning. We started off with Football Manager 2023 for the PlayStation 5, and then on to Deliver Us Mars. What a game. I'm playing Deliver Us the Moon right now, so great sequel and then a great prequel. It's all great. Tales, the Backbone Preludes. See, now that I'm reading through these games, I'm like, I've played some of these. I've heard of some of these. What's going on? Life is Strange 2 is coming to the Switch. Now Tales is on the PC, and then Deliver Us Mars is on all platforms. Hogwarts Legacy also on all platforms as well. That's on the 10th, so that's coming up so soon. February 14th, we've got The Labyrinth of Galleria, The Moon Society on the PlayStation 4, 5, Switch, PC. Blanc on the Switch and PC as well. And then Returnal, making another orbit around the moon. February 15th.
I didn't know it's been that long. Like, it's been out for a while. I'm surprised it hasn't been on the PC before.
Oh yeah. It's a weird game that's really stressful and makes you want to cry.
My husband, he loves that game.
I'm expecting the mods for February 15th for the PC.
Yes,
I'm absolutely expecting it. Then the next day on February 16th, we've got the Theater Rhythm Final Bar line, PlayStation 4 and the Switch. Wild Hearts comes out on February 17th. I think you're hunting down monsters in that game. And that's coming up on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and the PC. Tales of Symphonia Remastered. Still got to play that one, actually. And also, we're coming up real hot on Like a Dragon, Ishin, February 21st. And Atomic Heart. Atomic Heart looks nuts. Absolutely nuts. I'm afraid to play that game, actually. I think I'm going to watch somebody play through it. So those two games, both available on all platforms. February 22nd, we got Horizon Call of the Mountain on VR for the PlayStation, PSVR 2. Got Digimon World Next Order for all you people who can't let go of nostalgia on the Switch and PC. After the fall, Resident Evil Village and Tetris Effect Connected, all on the PSVR 2 and Tetris on the PlayStation 5. February 23rd, we got Company Heroes 3, Sons of the Forest, terrifying looking game.
I cannot wait. I'm excited.
Oh, it's going to be horribly wonderful. Yes. Those are both coming out on the PC. And also Blood Bowl 3. Honestly, that's like a cult favorite. It's on all platforms. You should check it out. I think it's like ogres or trolls playing like football or something. It's really cool. It's a sports game. February 23rd. And then February 24th, Octopath Traveler 2. Beautiful game. You should check it out. It's on PS4, 5, Switch, and PC. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, also a nostalgia game. Go ahead and hop on the Switch. And then the Kerbal Space Program 2 for all of you nerds who like playing on your computer. That is out. I mean, there's a heavy community behind the Kerbal Space Program. So definitely check it out. And then finally, on the last day of Black History Month, on February 28th, Destiny 2 Lightfall drops. So excited for that. Scars Above drops. Also interested in that. Those both are on all platforms. And then you got Lucy Dreaming and Void Terrarium 2. Lucy Dreaming on the Switch and Void Terrarium 2 on the PlayStation 4 and the Switch. So we got a lot of games coming out this month.
It's a loaded month. Yeah.
Packed month.
a loaded month, which yeah, I'm happy about. I'm happy that we have like a lot of options in this month. It's not even like sometimes you'll get a month where it seems like all the games of one particular niche come out. There's something for everybody this month, so
Oh yeah.
everybody can find their thing that they love.
Or
And then
puzzles, love it.
yeah, VR. I'm looking forward to the PSVR too. I'm looking forward to see.
Need to get
Wait,
one.
Is the one thing I need to know is Beat Saber going to be at launch? I got to see what comes out at launch. I don't know if they have like a big like drop. Like what comes out on the PSVR 2 at launch? Interns, let us know. Interns, let us know. Okay. So I'm going to knock out the movie releases for February. We have February 1st because we're a few days in. So some of these movies are already out. So if you ain't seen it yet, hold on, I'm trying to get it onto the screen as well. If you ain't seen it yet, you will maybe, you know, if it's your flavor. We have Unexpected. We have Wakanda Forever is coming to Disney Plus, or actually came to Disney Plus. It's already on there. So if you haven't gotten it, you can check it out then. And then I know later this month it's supposed to be coming out in Blu-ray and DVD. Sam and Kate comes out on Peacock. February 3rd, we have Knock at the Cabin, 80 for Brady, The Amazing Maurice, A Lot of Nothing, The Locksmith, all in theaters. On Netflix, we have True Spirit and Fiesta on Netflix. Who Invited Charlie? Little Dixie, Baby Ruby, Ocean Boy. Spoiler alert, that's going on Peacock. February 7th, we have The Last Deal, 1 Year Off, Millennium Bugs. We have Lourdes on February 8th. On February 9th, we have Harley Quinn, A Very Problematic Valentine's Day Special. That's such a title. We have The Outwaters. On February 10th, we have Titanic 25th anniversary. Hello, y'all don't know what happened in the movie?
I was going to ask.
Why we keep re-releasing?
You've seen this movie
James Cameron
times.
You know what?
Let it go.
Make your money. Go ahead, make your money. Just make your money, but don't blame somebody else for that money. Okay, wow, that's neither here nor there. That was a slight shade at James Cameron from stuff that he's been saying in the news, but we just gonna leave him alone for now. Magic Mike's Last Dance.
Yes.
I actually want to see it. Salma Hayek is in it as well. I actually want to see it. I saw the first one, and I think I saw the second one. I didn't see the third one. I need to see the third one. Anyways, Of an Age. Your Place or Mine, Somebody I Used to Know is on Prime on February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. We have the first name of this movie on Valentine's Day. Hey, Swallowed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next movie is What About Love? Okay. Anyways.
Two opposites.
Hello?
What's love got to do with it?
Okay. So February 15th, we have Marlowe, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Oh, so that's when it's coming out?
I cannot.
The horror.
At least they can do it on
Not blood
Valentine's Day.
and honey.
But yeah, there's Vampus Horror Tales. Then February 17th, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, which at first I was like, meh, I don't know if I want to see. Then Jonathan Majors, I was like, ooh, okay, I want to see it for him. And then there seems to be more interest, happening and brewing for that. Of an Age is coming out. Emily, Unlocked on Netflix. The First Step, Return to Seoul, The Other Fellow. On February 17th. That should have been a title also on Valentine's Day. That would have been a hilarious thing to say. Swallowed, What About Love? The Other Fellow. That would have been hilarious. Okay. February 21st, we have Lamia's Poem. February 22nd, The Strays on Netflix. February 24th, Cocaine Bear. I really want to see that. Jesus Revolution, Mummies, We Have a Ghost. I also want to see that. Die Hard, the movie. Juniper, The Quiet Girl, Bunker, God's Time. And then on February 28th, we have The Adventures of Jurassic Pet 2, The Lost Secret. Okay. And then we have The Man in the Basement. Yeah. I'm I got to see what is this about? What is this about? I'm confused. It's like Secret Life of Pets, but like dinosaurs. I don't know. I am confused. I am confused. We do have, the interns did drop a link for the PSVR 2 games that'll be coming out at launch. And it's, I think, is it just the games that you mentioned? That's what it looks like. Oh, Gran Turismo 7 as well is dropping. Resident Evil Village. Then they do have a couple things. I see like more in the launch window. So it may not be at launch, but in the launch window, No Man's Sky, the Dark Pictures, they have their VR contribution again. And then Star Wars from Galaxy's Edge Enhanced Edition. Moss 1 and 2 are going to be coming to the PSVR 2. Within the launch window, it says specifically, so it doesn't say at launch. Then there's also Jurassic World Aftermath Collection and Cities VR and Enhanced Edition. So they have a couple things. They should drop Beat Saber. I don't know why that's not like, we've got Beat Saber, because
who knows? That other headset might have a grip on that game. They might have a sweet deal to keep it there.
Well, they have it for PlayStation, or for like the current PSVR.
Oh, they don't have it on 2. Okay.
Right. Yeah, because the current one, it's a lot of fun. It's such a great workout game, or just fun game. Like sweat out. Yeah, you tried. You tried. They have no excuse, no reason. So jumping into the first thing that we're going to jump into is the Grammys. Okay. So normally I don't really care about the Grammys because it definitely is, award show in general, they've become way more political, right? And it's each year we talk about that. And we don't mean like politics like the president. We mean like, who's chosen. We've seen it before. A lot of times the people who should win, a lot of times don't win. And then you've got people that, do win. And we're not going to talk about that anymore. But yesterday, we have like a few awesome things to talk about. So Viola Davis is now an EGOT. Okay. EGOT. So I want to clap that up for her.
Absolutely.
Because, shout out to her for becoming an EGOT. The only other one I know of is Whoopi. Whoopi's an EGOT. Yeah.
And
Jennifer Hudson. Yeah. She's the one who had posted it.
Yeah. I don't know anybody else.
Isn't John Legend one, or is that Skip?
John Legend also.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
okay.
Skip talking about it.
I don't know the Black EGOTs, but
in the future. Yeah.
Chelseabytes.
Chelseabytes.
Yes.
Oh, God, no. That would be a dream. But yeah, that's freaking amazing.
It's amazing.
Need all of them, and I feel you on like the political part of awards, because it's like when you find out who these boards are, it's always disappointing. Like
that's what I'm always figuring.
And lacking of melanin a lot of the time.
That part.
Literally that.
Yeah, a lot of the time. And then even like when you think of like the Oscars, right? Which we will be having PartyChat Oscars this year, so everybody viewing, stay tuned. But like it's the there's like I can understand being a filmmaker and sending your movie off to people and like the 4-year consideration for these people on this board to like vote your movie. But a lot of times it's people of like who lack a lot of melanin voting on these movies, and who do they choose? More of their people. Like, hey, come on in. And a lot of people kind of get cut out. So that has been changing more and more, not at a fast enough rate, I feel, but nonetheless, I am happy about the Grammy wins yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think, I know we're going to talk about it. Like when Twitter blew up and they said during Black History Month, it was hilarious to see, because I wasn't watching the Grammys. I mean, the Emmys. See, I wasn't watching none of that at all.
I just watched it. I never watched it.
Oh, you did? I called him Henry Styles. Okay.
Close enough. Close enough.
It's close enough. But I just immediately I try to be objective and think outside of myself. I'm like, yes, of course there's a fan base in other countries. Yes, those are large populations too. This, that, and the other. But I'm like, it's been years though for my girl. Like,
how she get 3 and not get the album? It doesn't make sense.
Right.
It doesn't make
sense. It doesn't. And it just, I think Mr. Harry Styles, he said some things, and I don't think he had any ill intent, but it was just not the right time to be saying that. You know what I mean? Like, it was pretty
What did he say?
Oh, you don't know what he said? You don't know what he said?
No, I don't know what he said.
So he got up there on that stage when he won his Album of the Year award, and he said, people like me don't get on the stage. Yeah. Oh my.
I saw that.
You saw that.
Wait.
Yeah.
He said what?
People like me don't win stuff like this very often. I don't know if that's the exact quote, but it was along those lines. And it just came off so bad, because it's like, well, who are you?
Who are you?
People like you win all the time in a lot of people's minds. So he just wasn't specific enough, and people ran with that. Like he just.
So what did he specifically mean? Someone said British people. Oh, is it that he said British people don't really?
Some people were saying, so people are sitting here trying to piece together what he was saying. I don't know if he came out and like clarified. So if y'all find his words, that would be great. But people like, well,
that would be great.
He's talking about, you know, that he's from Europe, or he's talking about because he is a queer artist. And I'm like, you don't know, baby. You don't know. He didn't say that.
He didn't say. Okay.
I'm waiting to find it. Everybody's been guessing, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We can't have this be the Kanye situation again. Like, oh, it was a joke. I'm like, it didn't look like a joke to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he didn't. He wasn't. I know he didn't mean. Oh yeah, and it was so funny that everybody was saying during Black History Month, y'all. He from the EU. Their Black History Month is in a completely
October.
Different. Yeah. You weren't even thinking about that. Oh my gosh.
Let's give him a pass on that aspect, okay? Because like you said, he's over there. It's different. Things are different. Okay. So no, on him not knowing the Black History Month part, the people like me part, we need clarification. That needs like bullet points. We need an essay.
Explanations. We need.
Hello. Yeah. We need a full expository essay. Okay, that's what we need. Explaining the whole entire thing. So kind of running through it, Viola Davis is now an EGOT. Beyonce holds the record for most Grammys. Again, it doesn't make sense how she is the most Grammys won 3 Grammys last night.
But that goes back to the politics that you're saying. They probably were like, all right, give her these so she can win, but then give, you know.
Yeah, as far as like one over here, so that way they don't have to give her everything on the other side. And what's kind of a side note, which is something, and I'll put this out there as a concern that we have, right? Because we saw a lot of the Golden Globe wins, right? That were well-deserved wins. The concern I have now is that, were some of these Golden Globe wins given so that way Oscars don't have to be given? Because some of these people that won them Golden Globes should also be winning some Oscars this year. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see. Harry Styles won, as we just said, won Album of the Year for Harry's House. Lizzo, she won for Record of the Year with her song About Damn Time. Bonnie Raitt, I don't know who that is, wins Song of the Year for Just Like That. You guys know who that is?
Hold on, I had to look up the name. No, but I bet you if I see their face, I'll be like, oh, no, I don't.
I'm still on my 2008 playlist, man. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, I don't.
And then Tennessee State University's marching band is the first college marching band to win a Grammy. Ooh. Okay. They won Best Roots Gospel Album and Best Spoken Word Poetry Album. I didn't know that university marching bands were putting out albums. I didn't know that. Okay.
They be performing. They might as well.
They might as well. It makes sense. I've also seen like videos. Like there was one of doing like a bunch of songs like from 80s movies, and it was like I was in marching band. I was in marching band in high school. Okay. And I was in color guard. All right. I used to play the alto sax, a little bit of the flute, and I was in color guard.
Oh my God, you're so skilled.
What's the color guard move? What's the color guard move?
That's the flag, because you have the flag and you go like this, or like you spin it, or toss. I used to love the toss, just watching the flag go up and then catching it. I couldn't really always catch it well, so it was kind of like I could get the whip of the toss up, but catching it, it was a little dicey at times. But the throw was always beautiful. I always had a great throw. All right. So the question, right, that we have is, did you guys watch it? Because I didn't watch it. I just saw like the clips after on social media. Yeah. But was there a performance that you guys might have seen that you liked, or even people in the chat? You guys can let us know if there was a performance that you guys liked.
I did kind of see that was kind of cool was the hip hop part, and I'm not even into hip hop, but just kind of like seeing the drastic change in hip hop from back in the day to now, and just the sound change and the performing change and the word change. And it just was to see it all kind of like right there. You're like, oh, it's really changed over the years.
Oh,
The
Well, I think that's
sound
like
of
with every
music.
like decade, right? Because
Exactly.
like
50 years.
hip hop in the 80s was different than the 90s, and then in the 90s from the early 2000s, and then even from early 2000s to 2010s, that transition of hip hop was like definitely turned to more mainstream, and then late like after 2010s when we're starting to get low 2010s into the 2020s, sounds like weather, right? But then we're getting more of the mumble rap trap movement that was happening, and the whole conversations of rap back in the day used to be about sellers, and rap nowadays is more about users, and even messaging changing. But
Yeah, I agree. I'm not like the most musically inclined of the group, but I mean, you can just feel the difference of how music has changed, and I want to see more of the artists, like the underground artists at the Grammys for sure. Like it's the complaint I have with like every platform. It's so hard for industries to cycle through talent. Like I love Big. Like I do. I love my girl Babe. But also let me go and see Toby Lou like come through and grab up some of these, or let me learn a new name. Like how dope would it be if you could go onto these platforms and they have like undiscovered talent, or like talent you wouldn't know about, like you're learning something. It's just a lot, there's a lot of adjustments, improvements, if you will.
I agree.
there was a little bit of that with Samara Joy.
Yes.
She won Best New Artist, and I think she's more of a jazz indie
I learned
artist.
about her through chat today. I was like, Samara, I think she's from New York. And I was, or the Bronx or somewhere. I forgot. She's from the north somewhere. And
she's
I was
from
like,
somewhere.
okay. Yeah, she's from around.
Yeah.
And
I agree with that, but I feel like it is a little, it's kind of hard because I when I think of that with like shows and movies where it's like, okay, sometimes you put a big name there, it brings the people, it brings the audience, we get to see their faces again, we're used to them.
Exactly.
But then sometimes you need like an unknown face to really fill the story, because sometimes the face, especially when they become like The Rock or Kevin Hart, like when they become so like them, like you can't even take them away from the character, which is nothing wrong with that. That kind of happens naturally. But if that happens, and sometimes it's like, would it have been better with a unknown or a new performer that we can get to know? So it's just weird, like, but then it's like when it comes to like giving credit where credit is due, it's like, well, when do you give the chance to give those who have been doing it for a long time their chance to kind of be? So it's this weird, like, you know what I mean? Like balance.
It is. And I think the thing is, the issue is that there's not enough of an actual attempt at a balance. I think people are normally in one place or the other. A lot of people are in the mindset of, butts and seats. And to a point that the art itself can sacrifice. They'll be like, oh, let's get a big name. And like you said, I love The Rock. I love Kevin Hart. Like I would love to interview Kevin Hart. He's like a mogul inspiration to me. Okay. To such a huge degree with what he started as and what he has built. Like the trajectory that I would like to take myself. And he's little too. Okay. Hello. I think we're the same height. All right. Yes. Let's unite. So to where he's gotten and who he's built up, and that mindset of bringing on other comedians into what he's doing and bringing them up, producing their shows and things like that. That's kind of how I approach what I do, in the content creation realm. And that's what I want to continue to do. However, Kevin Hart a lot of times is Kevin Hart, and when you're watching these things, The Rock is pretty much
that's okay.
It's like, and sometimes I'm like, ooh, I feel like that Kevin Hart vibe will be great for this movie, so I'm excited to see him in this. Like Secret Life of Pets 2, I love him in that movie. Oh, he's my favorite character. That bunny is the cutest freaking thing. But like, I do wish that there was more of that attempt at a balance. Let's have great, amazing art, tell a great, amazing story, and if I saw the name Will in there, so I was going to say Will Smith. I know things a little touchy for him right now, but like if Will Smith,
now with Bad Boys 4 coming,
all right.
So if Will Smith is the right person for the job because he brings what is needed for the role, then yes. But if Quesadilla brings what is needed for the role, and he's not a big name. He should still be,
Come on, Quesadilla.
in the position.
No, let's
Okay.
talk about that real quick. I like your comment, Jordan, in
Yes.
the YouTube chat. It was so funny. Yeah, I'm laughing too.
Let me see.
It was so funny.
You
Started
said
out,
Jordan?
Thank y'all for the compliments. Y'all are so sweet. I see y'all.
Kevin
But I
Hart
wanted
would cheat on
to.
your
I wanted to piggyback. Yeah, put that one up. I wanted to piggyback off of what y'all are saying with talent. And that's kind of how Netflix started. Remember? Like Netflix had all
Yes.
like they had a whole bunch of new faces and they pushed them up. And now look at them. They're doing Marvel movies. Like they're out there. They
created careers.
Yeah, Star Wars X, like they're in big name projects. So I 100% agree. Like it's hard. It's hard finding that balance, but you know what would better help the balance? A lot of these boards or these councils, they don't have a lot of experience in what they're judging. Like I'm learning that with the Oscars, right? With there are some animated movies. Like there's an animated movie category. Already we're super American. So we see a cartoon, it's a cartoon. Like even though it's an animation, or it's some other like styled project, we boil it all down to cartoons, and they'll base it off of whether their kids liked it or not. They're like, oh, little Jimmy really liked this movie, so it should win, even though they're going up against like a Studio Ghibli production, and they can't wrap like their head around how much effort, talent, not to shade the other projects, but if we're putting one on top. And it's just because it's a lack of experience. I want these councils to put the money in it, but go ahead and take people from the field and have them judge in their categories. Like,
but you hit it on you kind of hit another thing without saying it too, which is
which I want to touch on.
Watching the movies. Okay, we have Black movies, and I'm doing this. But then those aren't, we all know what those, I can go on a whole list to Temptations, this, that. But did they get any recognition when they come out? Did they watch those movies to judge those movies as good or bad movies? So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they watched them or not, but it just goes to like, there's a whole category of movies that we all know are good. And like, dang, why didn't Angel Bassett get an award for?
She better get an Oscar. She better get an Oscar.
So it's like, now she's getting her flowers now, which is good. But it's like she wasn't.
So delayed.
She's been amazing for a very long time.
So delayed.
So you're right. It's crazy.
And then on that, like the aspect of like old head mindset, right? And I don't mean like as we know old head mindset. I'm talking about as they do, like this the unmelanated old head mindset, and how even anything that's new and different that has allowed, because gatekeeping has been the core beating heart of the industry from the beginning of time, right? Even before people of color were allowed to be a part of it. It was based on who you know, who your friends are, right? And they've brought that mindset to even anything that's new. So going back to what you said about Netflix, the thing I loved about Netflix is the opportunity it gave a lot of indie directors, indie writers, indie like people who didn't have big studio backings to get the opportunity to create their projects, put them out, and make their own name that way. And then you have people like Steven Spielberg saying, "Oh, Netflix movies shouldn't count." Like counts for Oscars, or shows on Netflix shouldn't count for Emmys, or Christopher Nolan saying, "Oh, at Netflix or Netflix shows or those streaming platform shows like bashing that shouldn't count." And it's like, if things stay the way they were back when you got your shot, we would never get a shot. Things have to change,
right?
Exactly.
So
I would
stop
like to
gatekeeping.
say,
Okay?
I think Netflix still kind of is doing it, because you kind of said, you guys were saying like, I feel like they still are. I mean, it's a little different now. But
they are getting more big names
like
now. Now people like, oh, Netflix.
Right, now they're seeing them. Right.
Hello.
See how they flip? You see how they flip?
Oh yeah.
And that's good for us, because now like professional work, like you see how people still kind of snub their noses at streaming. Like they're still like, well, the theater experience, like they're streaming. There's our streaming, and then they're streaming the show or streaming like there's two different types of streaming. That different world.
Times are changing.
But it does change it for both sides, because I get offended seeing people say it's in theaters only. I'm like, how do y'all not see the value of being able to release your product right away and letting people watch it from their homes? Like you don't have to limit it. It can come out in theaters too. Like that's that old head mindset where, oh, we have to keep theaters up and running. We have to hold on to this architect of the past.
Well,
And no shots to you if you like going to the movies, okay?
Right, I
get
do.
it.
I
I
love
like
it.
it too.
I'll get
I like
my
it too.
popcorn and my Butterfinger minis and eat it. I love it.
Yeah.
But we don't need it. You can have it. We don't need it.
Yeah.
But then also with us streaming or us doing content creation, you know how people will look down on you as a content creator? They're like, what do you really do?
Be
Like, you're not an actor.
Oh,
I'm
you
like,
play
okay,
games.
right?
My
I'm
daughter
like,
plays. My little 4-year-old plays.
right,
Do they make this
exactly.
money? Do they pay their bills with
Oh,
playing
right.
games?
I
Huh?
love-
Right?
Yeah.
That's how.
So yeah,
that's how I
it's
feel.
shifting mindsets.
Yes, yeah. I love where this conversation went from the Grammys to this, because I feel like these are important things that should be talked about more, honestly. And I want to say that they need to learn, but I feel like it's getting to a point they don't really have a choice, because the social media is making it harder and harder for our conversation to be quieted. So,
and can I say too, I really think the pandemic, I always believed that the movie theater was going to die at some point, just because that's just the direction everything's going. As much as I don't mind sitting in front of a humongous screen with snacks, but when the pandemic forced us to stay home, it's like you can't. What is it? You can't put the cat back in the bag. Like you can't. It's done. Like you know, it's you're not gonna be able to really take it back. It's gonna become a thing where it's like what do you call it? Like a drive-in theater? Like it's a specialty. You know, it's not something we do anymore, but it's a special. I think the movie theater is going to turn into a specialty where they have to make it more expensive, and then it's more of a activity that you do once in a while, as opposed to something you used to do. Some people could go, you know,
like
more than once
every
a
week.
You know,
Some people used to
that's just not.
I think
going to be the case
for the movie side. Like I get them having to make their money back because they put a lot of money into production, into marketing, and things like, and paying these actors who, you know, they don't believe in pandemic or inflation. Well, they believe in inflation. They'd be like, "You pay me $10 million for this movie," and I'm like, "Okay," but like. I think for them to make that money back, they should do like on demand, just like, you know, you pay your $3 or $4 for it, but you stay at home. You can go to the theaters.
Extra.
It should be theaters and on
$50
demand.
million on streaming services.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't spend no more money.
If it's already included in my service and I just add a few extra dollars to it, like there's so many creative ways they could
that's smart
be.
too. Like add like five, so like
they've done it. They've tested
But when they
this
do
on
it, it's like
several.
$30 for
You and know, I do it.
Disney
do it
need to
again.
stop, because that's like that's a robbery the way Disney does it. But like, you know, I love y'all Disney, but y'all need to be called out on a lot of stuff.
I think it would improve our movie experience if theaters were more expensive. Have y'all seen? There was a new. I know you don't like hearing it. I know you don't like hearing it, but listen.
But I kind of agree with her.
Hear me out though.
Yeah.
See. Look. There is this new Cinemark theater that I visited with my family out here in Texas. That thing was to the like nines.
Is it the 4D thing? Because I want to go to a 4D. I've heard of 4D and I want to.
4D one.
Yes, they're
what is it?
The 4D Cinemark.
Like 4D. Okay.
Yeah. And I hate going to theaters, and it's on this crappy projector. And I can't even. I know I would have seen it better at home. Like
with your
my screen is bigger than this.
LCD or LED TV,
right, because it's only in theaters. And I would prefer there to be maybe fewer theaters, but they're all like base, like nice screens. You don't have to have like a kiosk at every single one, but I'm ready for that upgrade. Like I will pay more, because if I'm going out of my house anyway, I'm already ready to get a premiere experience or something. But of course, I do want to keep it accessible, because, you know, some people, I don't want to go way out of the way, but just something in the middle.
We're blessed now. Well, like movie tickets now, I can afford now. But if movie tickets are the price now, before I started the channel, I wouldn't have been able to go to the movies no more.
Right.
Then it's also an issue if you raise the prices of movies, then it's not really accessible to people like as well. Then for like to afford it too. And
there's got to be an answer here, Omar. Okay,
I'm just saying. I'm just. If we can focus on the service, like bringing the popcorn and whatnot. Like, oh man, I bet that's nice. I remember movies are $14.99 for like $55.99 for like that experience. Like,
Omar, if you look at it,
I wouldn't go to any theater if it's.
I feel like it's like a middle. Like, all right, if you think about amusement parks, right? Like they're kind of pricey, but it's not something you do every day. So because people go maybe 2 or 3 times a year to amusement park, but it's this amount of money, they do get their values worth. So if you make the movie theater, not saying it's going to be an amusement park, but with that 4D energy, then even though it's like less people going, it'll wind up being more in the long run. So I don't know.
I will say maybe the median is they are raising prices anyway, so they should just do more. Like prices are like they already raising. I remember when for $5, not like the special $5 AMC, like $5 holo that they got. Well, they used to. I don't know if they have it now during the pandemic, but you could pay $5 on a Tuesday and go see a movie. But movie tickets at regular used to be $5. Y'all remember that?
Yes.
Okay,
for sure.
That's being old.
Now it's like $14. I remember when I went to go see Wakanda Forever with me and my mom, I ended up paying $50 for the two of us to see a movie and for me to get a small popcorn and a little bag of Butterfinger minis and like a drink, a small drink. Okay. And we spent $50. Okay.
You're not bringing your own food in there?
Oh, I was gonna say
you're not.
Listen, you gotta bring your own stuff in there now.
You got the purse, you know?
Ooh,
They need to be fried chicken, hot dogs, and hoagies and pizza in there.
Like a lobster biscuit one time. You over here talking about pop, man.
He bought a whole lobster. Wait a minute.
Yo,
I said, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
You could order a whole Pizza Hut like personal pan.
Absolutely. I bought my
There you
Fridays in once. I'm not even gonna lie.
Let me see your bag. Let me check. I gotta check your bag. I gotta check your bag, man. What's in your pockets? All right, man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
But
man.
I would have to say that I as much as I agree with bringing snacks in, I kind of treat the movie theater snacks as a special thing because I don't get to get all the time. So like I'll get my pretzels, even though it's $50 per thing, and my icy, because when do I ever get the snack on that? You know.
I love it. I'm sorry, I'm choking.
She said not too
really
much
talking,
on the Disney.
I love Disney. I love Disney, but there have been some things and decisions they've been made that have been that things they needed to be called out on. But yes, with Jordan and him saying, well, okay, hold on now. Don't come for me. Because
I was from the enemy. Open your third eye, sister.
Because you can get $1 from the dollar store, put that right in the bag.
Yep.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's
so
for
real quick,
us from
I saw that
that's my
comment.
biggest thing.
Somebody said, "I'm not going to the." I'm not going to
2 to 3 times.
You're
That's
gonna
what
do
my
it.
bro.
Dang.
Oh, that's Jordan.
Yeah, that was Jordan. Here it is.
Admit, I haven't gone out once in like some years.
Jordan,
So
Jordan is also from BlackNerdProblems.
Right.
Okay.
I said that like I've
It's
gone
like
that
a
many times.
takeover between him and Tiffy right now in the chat.
it truly is.
BlackNerdProblems squad up. So listen.
$7 candy. Oh,
Now on this amusement park talk, your girl just bought an annual pass to Disney. Okay, all right, and I will be going multiple times in the year. All right.
Okay, hold on. First off, how much that cost anyway? How much that cost in the first place?
How much does that cost? Well, I'm doing because I live in Florida, so I get to do the $50 a month thing.
Okay.
So for me and my family, me, my husband, and my daughter to go.
That's not bad.
I mean,
You put the family and me, my husband, and my daughter. All right, I can't.
Yeah. What can you say?
You can take your kid to Disney
What
World.
can you say at that part?
I would give her the life that I never had.
Oh,
there you go. All right.
But even if she
All right,
didn't have to do
next
it, that's not bad. $50 a month.
Next topic. So Knockout City. We spent so much time on the Grammys. We're gonna have to zip through these next couple of things, and then the DCU thing we gotta have to like jump through so we can get to the Last of Us stuff. All right. So Knockout City is shutting down servers on June 6th, which is hella surprising. They if on their website they actually have a blog post, I guess you can call it, or an announcement where they said today. Here, I'm gonna pull it up here so we can all read the holy scripture of Knockout City today. All right. Today we are announcing that Season 9 will be Knockout City's final season. And on the morning of June 6, 2023, oh goodness, that's not that far now. Like, how long does the season normally last?
All year?
How you gonna be like, hey, we got a new season, but it's gonna end in 4 months?
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Dog.
Over 2 years after our initial launch, all servers around the world will be shut down and the game will no longer be playable. This was an extremely difficult decision for us, but a necessary and important one for our studio. But before that happens, there are a ton of new updates in store. We've got a jam-packed season 9, a bunch of stuff. And then they say read on for a full explanation of why we're making this decision. So they have like a lot of information here as to why they are making this decision. And interns, if you don't mind dropping this in the chat so that the chat can dive in and read through. I will say, like,
they're shutting it down permanently.
Am I getting my $25 back?
Okay,
oh Lord,
give me my money.
I heard
y'all
the
are
hurt.
Funny.
I heard the hurt.
Oh, no.
I heard it.
And they just paid that $25. Yes.
Right. Fresh. Dang.
Yikes.
It's so this is all Epic's doing, right?
Sad. Like, I'm sad to see Knockout City go. It was such an old classic just game that we all used to play as kids. Now we make it more fun in a video game format.
Right.
And
no, it was a really good game.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I got to meet so many like amazing Black content creators through Knockout City. So it's sad to see it go. I got to meet like, Mercedes, Rashad Stark, so much other people as well. It was just like, dang, all the memories and all the, the knockouts.
Yeah.
Thanks for the memories.
Right, for real. It sucks to see it go, but again, like,
imagine tasting a dodgeball virtually. Like that's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Shout out to Mercedes as well. She did play this game a lot. She was competitive.
Yes.
She was great.
Yes,
she was great in it.
They did that to Rumbleverse as well.
Rumbleverse.
Rumbleverse.
Yeah, Rumble.
Yeah, it just that's fresher than Knockout
6
City.
6 months.
Yeah, this one didn't have a long lifespan. Rumbleverse did not have a long lifespan.
It's because of these free to play games. Would you consider them like victims of this recession?
Wait, I'm confused on why. I don't really know why it's. Can someone explain like why it's doing that? Why are they shutting it down?
Popularity.
I don't know
I would say
why.
popularity.
Did they?
Okay, so they have the why. All right, why? In order for Knockout City to keep growing, a lot of our systems supporting long-term player retention are in need of significant changes. As an indie studio with a limited size team, making these sweeping changes to the game will simultaneously keeping the same pace of fresh content through game updates and continue live support is virtually impossible to do. We've decided to take everything we've learned building Knockout City and innovate in new ways. This means stopping development on the Knockout City and exploring new possibilities in future experiences, whether in Knockout City or in a different world. Question I have, because they're not under Epic, are they? They're not under Epic, right?
I thought they were.
No, it's EA. This is under EA.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's under EA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
what's
because when it
Rumbleverse
launched,
under?
Epic. They're under Epic.
Oh, that's under Epic. Okay.
Okay.
Then let me break on them real quick. Let me
hold on for Knockout City. For Knockout City, I get question, and I'm just putting this out there for anybody that knows, or if the people ever watch this stream. Which I mean, if you do, you're cool. But if not, that's okay. Did you try to sell the game to like somebody who can help you with that? Because clearly it was a huge undertaking. Essentially, that was it. To keep up to date with things and have fresh content, it was a huge undertaking. You have a small team. Were there attempts to sell the game to a larger company that could fund, to like an Epic situation? Fall Guys was dwindling. All right. Then Epic took Fall Guys and they can bust out that new content, new skins like every other week, new seasons continuously going. So I wonder if they ever, did that.
And this is not, I'm assuming it's not something they can just kind of like keep going without adding updates. Because I guess just keeping control of it in general is a hassle.
Right. And because the upgrades would be helpful. Like I know at the beginning, so Jaden had mentioned this in the chat. I had custom skins with at launch with Knockout City. So you had like a custom like iChristine logo you could have on your back and like a banner. And I know they were reaching out to other creators, I guess, to help at launch. And I think it had a great launch because everybody was playing Knockout City. But then I do feel like the mechanics of the game kind of stayed the same. They did have seasonal things every once in a while, but it's not like they had like anything truly extremely new really hitting you. Like when you think of Fortnite, right? I do not play Fortnite a lot. I've played every now and again, but I know about a lot of the new things that they have in Fortnite. They're constantly changing that game, constantly updating it, constantly adding new things and making a lot of noise. And I get it being too big for you to do. But yeah, EA is a big company. So why isn't EA helping you?
That's what's confusing me, because EA is bigger than Epic, I'm assuming, no? So
they've been doing it longer than Epic.
Yeah,
they've been doing it longer. I'm thinking of microtransactions because them skins that people buy with Fortnite, I'm sure.
You want to talk about, so EA is so y'all know about what is that game? It's a Star Wars game. I think it was like the one where you get to, was it Battlefront?
Battlefront 2.
Battlefront.
Yeah. The latest one where you could play as like Vader. And they had like some of the biggest backlash on like these microtransactions. Like, remember on Reddit where that guy was like, I paid $80 to have Vader unlocked. And EA tried to explain why that was okay. Even though that's just not okay.
It's never okay.
And they had the most hated comment on Reddit, like in every thread, like that. You're dealing with these companies that, you know, that you don't provide in a quarterly, you're getting cut. And I like that somebody said in the comments, when did free to play games arise? I feel like you saw more of them when the pandemic dropped, because we all adjusted. People saw Among Us, and more options came out. So now that I really do feel, I see this explanation. I see what they're saying. They're like, our systems are really hard to support. Sweeping changes would be impossible. I think it was made impossible. I think they were given the choice to like, I don't think they were given a choice, actually. I think they just didn't get the money. Because it's not hard to.
That's what, because EA's behind it. EA helped to do the launch. So it like what you're saying makes sense, that it seems like they probably did ask for the money and EA probably didn't do it. And so with what you said about Star Wars, I feel like that shows you the difference between a company making a mistake and learning how to improve and make it better, or someone cowarding and running with their tails. Because like people do the Fortnite, and Fortnite gets brought up in the whole microtransactions conversation, but the way that they do it with the suits, people aren't dropping $80 to get the new Ariana suit, you know, or the next, like Spider-Man or Marvel, any of these Marvel movies or whatever, or people, you know, personal skins that come out. And I feel like there are tangible templates on how to do this out there that EA could have done with this game to make it more enjoyable.
Sucker Punch did it really well with Ghost of Tsushima, because like, oh, you beat the game, like, thanks for playing. 3 months later, oh yeah, by the way, here's a multiplayer game. Oh yeah, by the way, it's free. Oh yeah, by the way, like when they finally locked it, you can play for whenever till the second one comes out. Enjoy. Like that brought everybody back in. I'm still in Ghost of Tsushima, man. It's been like I'm still there. I'm still there. I don't know what happens in the afterlife when I send these folks to the afterlife after the afterlife. I'm still there. Like they did, like it's incredible with what they've done there. Like that's my Fortnite.
Yeah. So I mean, it sucks. RIP Knockout City, because the design team is cool. Like the people at Valan, they're really awesome. Yeah. And
I'm not a gamer, but I'm very like I do 3D models.
Is that your Hunger Games?
I'm in the 3D.
You said you do 3D models. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm in the 3D. I'm a gamer from a distance. Like I watch people play games, and then I don't build games, but I do a lot of 3D designs and things like that. So I know a lot about Unreal Engine and all that. So I'm always visually looking at, okay, what was the style? And it was a really unique style game. Not unique in the sense of like never seen before, but just like you don't see games like that out there often. That bubbly graphic type of look. So it's kind of corny because I like that type of style in games sometimes.
Yeah, it's like that. And also I will say this, because a lot of people I know right now are really excited about Hogwarts Legacy and black hairstyles, right? Because as far as customization, last big game we had was Elden Ring. And I quote from my chat, they said, all you did was make a brown white person. Okay.
Oh, you know what made me mad? I went and I was talking to some people. I was like, yo, They kept talking about how like, ooh, it's so robust. I can make anything. I was like, so did you forget about black people with hair? Like, I just
Oh, and Elden Ring. Oh yeah, they forgot. They weren't not even forgot. They did not think of us at all. Okay, it wasn't like they remembered and forgot later. I think later somebody on the legal team was like, some of these skin tones should be a little darker just for legality,
Right.
and then they threw it in there. But I bet the initial edition, if we got our hands on the look of the initial edition, there was nothing past the color of. Let me not put my color.
What the coffee is going? What the light skin coffee is going on?
I have my Starbucks.
They didn't have me in there. That's what you're saying.
Throw that paper bag.
one game of the year. I was like, I hate this.
My thing about
the game was fun though. The game was fun, but they didn't forget.
No, I'm
hold on, before you say what you got to say, Quesadilla, for Knockout City, they had great hairstyles. There, I would say like she had a great and the facials looked ethnic. I felt like we could see us. They had some curvatures to them. I liked it. So go ahead, Quesadilla.
Now, only thing about what Elden Ring is real fast on that. It's like it's kind of crazy how Bluepoint, who did the remake of Demon Souls, could actually put in black people, and you didn't learn from that. They did your game better than you with character customization. How'd that work?
Because they don't like us.
I mean, just go straight to the point if that's what you want to do.
And they want you to know that. Yeah.
Go straight to the.
Let it be known. I can't wait to see that team. I'm going to walk in and be like, y'all is right.
But the thing with Hogwarts, that's one of the things I love about like the customization, the hairstyles, even including locks. Okay, when's the last video game that you saw that you could customize your character with locks and they look good?
Yeah.
Okay,
and it looks good.
That's a huge distinction. The customized, because we've gotten characters with locks recently and they have been hitting, but it is a beast to find any game where you can actually customize your hair and it looks good. I agree.
And with color and
yes.
But you're thinking, Omar.
I do. Go ahead.
Go
ahead, Omar.
I was thinking maybe WWE, but that's like it's 2K, maybe. But it gotten better since the older days. But I'm trying to remember the locks. I think they might have gotten it. But it's an asterisk near that one.
Okay.
They coming out. They crawling out.
They learning.
Well, that's and that was my thing I was going to say, which is like I do respect like not just games, anything really, but games that will like hear the audience, like if they complain and then actually make efforts to change it, especially like what I'm thinking about is actually The Sims. Like I don't, I usually watch the building part of The Sims because I like architecture, but they were complaining about the hair and the skin tones for a long time, and then they made efforts to make it better. Now we don't hear the complaint so much because they made those changes. So I respect companies that like
listen.
I respect you better when you kind of go in with that understanding,
right?
But we can't expect that from everybody.
But I will say to kind of slightly take back, like we give a little Sims, which is EA, and take a little bit back. Like people like Mira, Ebonics, Sims, they had to make custom skin tones and custom hairstyles, and then Sims was like, "Oh, so this is how you do it." It's not like they put in the effort first.
People with years,
that is true.
Years of 3D modeling, character creation, and they can't look at a person next to.
That's what I'm saying.
That's how you do that.
Well, that's the thing. It's the next to them. Who's sitting next to them?
Did they hire black people? Are there black people working?
Right, because they did
Google them. Don't be ashamed.
Mira, shout out to her. Her and Ebonic Sims, and there were a few others that made custom content, and then Sims changed. They changed Sims.
All of them. Mwah. Yeah. Kiki loves Sims. If y'all know Kiki Palmer loves Sims, go on follow her.
But if you're doing a game about,
she's starting to stream on Twitch. What's the interns? Drop her Twitch name in the chat, okay? I'm excited to follow her.
Get her on the show, Christine.
I'm just saying, if you do a game about people, you should have the people at the. I mean, this is a game about people. I mean, The Sims are.
It really is.
That's like it's a game about
all it is.
Living people, right? I mean, they're Sim people, but they're people. You should have people that look like the people.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Okay, so let's jump really quick for the next thing. Xbox, Nintendo, and Sony will not be at E3 this year.
So is there
I heard a
E3?
laugh. Hold on.
What
Hold
they
on.
holding?
Hold on.
E3.
Wait.
What they holding back
E3?
from everybody?
Wait.
That's something ain't right.
The way that if you had liquid in your mouth, it would have just spit across your
It would've.
screen.
Guess we're not watching them.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question I want to ask, right, is for E3, right? Because there's E3 for the industry. There's
Mhm.
E3 for industry adjacent, but industry like content creators, right? You know, in the middle, in the sandwich. And then there's E3 for like people who are just game players, right? Fans of games, right? That go to these events. I don't think, and I'm going to ask you guys for this question. Do you think this really changes anything for E3? Because I don't think as the game player, it really changes a lot because Nintendo hasn't been at E3 for a long time. They've been doing their direct since before 2017. Sony left before the pandemic happened, and now the pandemic happened, Xbox left, but they still hold their events during E3's thing. So I get the press conference part is changed, but I mean, it's been a pandemic for a few years and we haven't had like a press conference. We've had showcases, you know?
So
I
you're
don't know
saying
if
you
it really
don't feel
changes.
the change. You don't see that there is a change necessarily.
Yeah, I don't see that this really changes a lot for and then when you go, like, I don't know how many of you guys have went to E3, but like when you're on the floor, there's a bunch of games that you can play. Sony is one place, Xbox is one place, Nintendo is one place, but there's floors, like 2 ballrooms of like a bunch of indie games or lesser known, you know, companies that present games. So I don't know if that necessarily changes for them because these 3 people aren't there.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I don't think it really changes for E3 that much. I just think it's going to be nicer for the developers to actually really see their gamers in front of them now, instead of just putting on the screen, them sitting at home watching their trailers and whatnot. Now you're going to have these devs coming up, talking to their content creators, talking to these future players of their game, try to get the word out. I think it's going to be a lot more, because I knew E3 when it first started, that's how it was. It was about developers just talking to their gamers and showcasing their games. Now they're going back to what it used to be, since the big 3 won't be there no more. And I just think it's going to be nicer to see these devs talk to their player base and actually get that word out.
But it sounds like the conversation we just had about the movie theaters. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I crazy? Like they okay, if Sony has their own world, they want to have everything that is theirs in their own world. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess all the conversations come together because in the indie side, but then it's like, do the smaller brands and companies and games get that same connection to these big companies to say, hey, I have this game, can you pick it up, or let's make a connection, or let's partner together, or whatever the case may be, if they're not there. So
well, I think a lot of those teams, they have access to, like, you know, who the person is at Sony that they need to contact to, you know, present their game to, you know, who the person is at Xbox to do that. I feel like that's contact that they have. Being in person and networking, that is like great. But a lot of times, even with Sony, like one of the benefits was knowing who was on the media list, so you can reach out, and that's only if you went as press. So if you went as press, you can see the media list and you can contact people to meet with them. But Sony was cagey a lot of the times with who they would meet with anyways, you know? So I don't know if, again, that necessarily changes that.
What I'll add to this part of the conversation, I think there's like, it's a good move for these companies individually. Like, it makes sense.
Right.
Nintendo always be stingy as hell with their shit.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, they
Hello.
do.
Right.
Hello.
So it was
Hello.
a no. We
I love
knew
you, Nintendo, but yes, y'all.
Yeah,
Stingy as hell. Okay.
they were gonna do their own thing anyway.
Mhm.
So that comes down to, you know, Sony, Xbox. You can probably depend on them to be head to head in any situation. And I do like coming through and being like, you know, I just want to focus on the Sony stuff today. This is great. But what I think hurts E3 is that you had a community of all the gamers coming together. Like, I could kick myself for not going to E3 2018. One of the best E3s that there were. And then after that, just like it just started dying. And I think it's important. I think it's important to have that one thing where everybody can come together and watch. Like it was nice to have one day where you got all the updates on all the games. Everybody was coming together for competition. I don't think it's going to hurt indie developers necessarily, because you see all of these companies have acquisition mindsets now. Microsoft is acquiring studios.
Yeah.
Sony's acquiring studios. They're picking up big name ones, but also small ones too. So they have a chance. But I feel like E3, if they just wouldn't have played with people, they'd have kept it about the community. If they weren't focused on making their tickets so expensive and opened it up.
Their tickets were like wild.
Nuts.
Which I don't. Has there been any information on what tickets might look like for this year? Because
I'm not going. I didn't even look.
That's the well for
I
me. It
ain't going.
Depends on. I mean, I gotta see because I went in 2017 and it was such an amazing experience to go.
Yes, it was so good.
But I did get to go as press, so it's not. I didn't have to pay for the ticket. I had to pay for my flight though, but I didn't have to pay for the ticket to go. You know,
That's
to the
a
place.
So, Christy,
No
like using a sandwich analogy, I guess that top tier is the companies. Do you think it's benefiting them more than the other layers, the other people?
It would
them
have
separating it like this.
It definitely benefits them to do it on their own because it's cheaper and
It's cheaper.
They don't,
It's cost effective.
Yeah.
Focus on
It's more cost effective. And it's all about you. And I personally felt that E3 had so many years. Like that's your selling point when you can get the people in the seats like we were talking about earlier. If they'd have just kept it like that, like you would have made Sony, you would have made Xbox, and maybe even Nintendo. They'd have been like, well, we could do it on our own, but we know this many people are going to be at E3. Maybe we should stick around. It's just all these decisions, all this groundwork that they laid. Yeah.
So I guess we'll see how it pans out. We know that I will say Summer Games Fest has been fun. The reason I laugh is because I think of Jeff Keighley, because when the tweet came out that Xbox isn't joining, Summer Games Fest was like, hey, we're gonna have all, like he's pulling Wendy's. The Summer Games Fest is like Wendy's on Twitter, but a little less like going for the throat, because Wendy's Twitter, they be like.
Wendy's has no care.
Wendy said, "Saga's on hiatus. I got the time today. That's still the biggest bar of all time."
With the Summer Games Fest last year, I got to host the event on the floor. So we were going back between the Twitch Summer Gathering.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and they do so much with such a small space. Like that's great for Jeff. Right? Like you can have people already established with the Game Awards. It was just natural for him to move into the Summer Games Fest and just make it about new releases, especially with indie developers. Like there were so many indie games that came out. People were going nuts in the chat.
Giving a platform and like taking his platform and giving them like elevation and amplification. That
exactly for relatively a decent price. Like it was not a crazy venue. Like it looked good, but it was not crazy.
That's good. That's good. Now let's jump into Last of Us, okay? Episode 3 and 4 review. So kind of doing like our spoiler free, all right, for episode 3 and 4. I want you guys to say your rating, like, out of 10 Fireflies, what's your rating? And then what is a phrase or word that you would give to that you feel properly represents how you felt about the episode. And that'll be our spoiler-free version, and then we'll go into spoilers. So, Chelsea.
Yeah, thanks. See, I'm glad you know me. 9 out of 10 for me. And it felt like we were diving deep. Like we were really getting to know like just more. But diving deep is what I'd say.
Okay. Omar?
I gave it a DDP WCW 10 right there, first and foremost. And a word, as you said, one word, right?
Yeah, word or phrase.
Bars. That's it.
Oh, okay. All right, drop the mic. Boom. All right. JCutt?
I would say 9, like 8.59 out of 10.
Okay.
And then I would say atmospheric.
Says.
I feel that. ProKesadia.
Oh, she said it wrong, y'all. We got
Oh my goodness.
I was like,
It's the way that I don't think
Quesadilla.
of quesadilla. I think of Casadia.
Quesadilla.
Okay. But
Quesadilla.
I'm just gonna say quesa. Okay.
That's
Quesa.
fine. That's all
right?
good. Yeah. Yeah, I would give it a 9 out of 10 for both episodes as well. And a word for that. I don't want to say deep as well, because dive deep was definitely how I felt where the story was going. But I'm gonna say 2 words.
You want to
Buckle
deep
up.
dive?
Buckle up.
Buckle up. There we go.
Okay. Right. Mine is 10 out of 10, and I'm gonna kind of echo JCutt. I'm gonna say world building. World building. World building.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was our spoiler-free review of episodes 3 and 4. If you have not seen it, we are about to go into our spoiler section. Okay. So spoiler. Okay. All right. You have been warned. We're gonna dive into our spoilers. So starting with episode 3, right? Because mind you, I binged 1 through 4 last night. All right. I watched all
As
of
you
them.
should. As you should.
Last night.
That's
Yes.
good.
Well,
I'm
I
jealous.
wish I had known that the first one was an hour and 20 minutes before I
Okay.
decided
What was
to do that
it?
binge.
Film.
Because, yeah,
That was
I was
cooking
up
meal.
pretty late last night. But so
Yeah, what did you
episode
think?
3, I 10 out of 10. I loved it. I did reactions, okay, and this was emotional. I should have said emotional roller coaster, because I boo-hoo cried in episode 1 a couple of times. Episode 3, I was I said 3. Episode 3, I was bawling. Okay,
Yes.
bawling. And I was like, please, episode 4, I don't want to, I can't, no more, I got no more tears left to give. Episode 4, please do not make me cry. But so for episode 3, I know some people, you know, there are like complaints and things like that about the story, right? So there's Bill and Frank, right? Which I'm so tempted every time to say Bill and Ted when I start with Bill, but Bill and Frank, okay? And then
I'm gonna need you to
from-
just pivot from that dynamic and change it to something more wholesome.
But like for Bill and Frank, so I had played the game, but I got really, really far into the game. Like I think I could almost finish the game, but I was so at PTSD from 2020. It was a rough year, yada yada. Long story, right? But I could not really remember like a lot of I didn't remember Bill. I didn't remember like the interaction with Bill or anything like that because I played it in 2020, and that's my excuse, you know. But when we got to this part, I thought that the great thing about this show, because when they're talking about creative liberties, I love the aspect of, hey, when you're playing a game, you're normally like reading like letters as you're passing to get little bits of the world. And the opportunity the show has is to just spend an episode deep diving into something you didn't get to see in the game.
Exactly.
And providing like more.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
How you supposed to do it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Art.
Right.
Absolutely.
Art.
Witcher.
Context. That's the point of it's wild. This is like I just want everybody on this chat to know, like, if you ever want to be like friends ever, like, this is my passion. Like this is my dream. I love video game adaptations and media. There are some horrible ones. I'm looking into Uncharted. There's some wonderful ones. Like we can talk. We can talk, and I will break it down for you. And then for Resident Evil, one of the best. Like there's so many that are so good. Netflix, we got to talk. But
I was gonna say,
not that. No, y'all, the movie, the first one.
Oh yeah, the first one was fantastic.
I was fantastic. But with that, the whole
it's funny how you said the movie, they like the first one, because there was like it became kind of like Fast and Furious but with zombies.
But with The Last of Us, I think they have done so well, and you see how they're bringing on voice actors from the game. You're talking to people from the game about this piece of media.
R.I.P. Annie. R.I.P. Annie.
Yes. So I think one of the voice actors for Tess just passed.
Tess, cancer.
That from cancer. That cancer. Excuse my language. But
and it's wild watching episode 3
Yes.
right at like
right?
right after. Yeah.
I was
Wow.
like, hold on, what juju do y'all have in this
Hello?
show? But yeah, with that, like that's all we want from these shows. You don't have to always stick to the game. Explore something that the game put out there. I mean,
Mhm.
you can have your twists, but twist it right. Like there's
Yeah.
we have
Right.
Yeah.
moves
Yes.
to dance
There it
to,
is.
Yes. Yes.
but you
It's a
know, you
weird
don't
puzzle piece,
want to
but
do
it
the wrong
fits.
steps.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
And
great.
that's
It was
what
beautiful.
to me this okay because I seen the game because I don't like I said I'm not a gamer but I'm a gamer, so I watched someone play the whole game, so I knew the whole story and everything. So I was looking forward to see like, okay, what are they going to keep? What are they going to take away with it?
Mhm.
Now, keep in mind, I had no plan. I'm not gonna say I wasn't going to watch it. I just had no plan to watch it yet. I kind of was like, I'll watch it when I can watch all of it at once or something. I can binge it.
Mm.
But when I heard we were going to talk about it, I was like, well, I got to watch it. So, but I'm glad I did because I'm like, I got to watch it. But I'm glad I did because now I'm like, oh, I'm excited for every week. Like I'm excited to be a part of the
Yes.
journey.
Yeah.
But this to me is one of those examples of they knew when to make it a movie or to make it a show.
Yeah.
Because
Mm.
sometimes they're like a movie, but it's like you would have did
You're
better if you did a
rushing.
show
You don't
because
have
you
Show,
enough
could
yeah.
have
You're not
really
you're not exploring the
massaged
whole
it
thing.
through the
Yeah.
exactly.
Wait, did you just
Mhm.
say? Did you say for Uncharted it could have been a show?
Because I didn't even see the movie because I was like, no,
Yes. So I
like
agree.
don't do it.
I
Yeah.
agree. So they could
Yeah.
have palmed. Okay,
But I'm
stop,
sure.
Chelsea. But you
But
get
that's
it.
my and that's my point. Like just to kind of bring Wednesday into it, like
Such a good show. I watched it
such a
twice.
good
Wednesday.
show.
I liked it.
But if it was a movie, I don't know if it would have the same.
I don't think it would have.
That it
I don't
did
think
as
it
a
would
show
have.
because
Not
we
a
were able to
build-up.
really. So I feel like this show really, and I was a little confused about episode 3 because I was like, wait, who? I didn't know who it was for a second, and then when I was trying to remember the game, I was like, okay, I know this. All I remember was he needed to go get a car. I'm like, they turned that get in a car into a whole situation.
Right.
But I felt that to be really good because it explained. Because we watch a lot of zombie type of stuff, and then things are just set up, and you're like, well, how did you get things set up? Like, how did you get it?
Mhm.
How did you get a little space that's safe for you? How did that? And I'm hoping they do that with his brother. Like, show me how
Right.
like, how did it get
What's
there?
Yeah. Because in the
How did it
game,
get
you are
there?
meeting. So in the game, you are meeting people because the only flashback you have is the intro of the game.
That's it.
And then
don't get
after
anything
that,
else. Yep.
you are just where they
You're there.
are in the present at the
in that
same
20
time.
year
And yeah, the 20-year gap.
jump.
So I completely understand that statement of, okay, well, we're bringing this from the gaming aspect to a show. It is necessary in the show I wouldn't say it's necessary because I'm sure you could do it without it. If you can write it well, it doesn't really matter what you do.
Right.
But
Right.
the show provides that opportunity. Hey, we didn't do this in the game. Let's dive into this.
Yeah.
In the
Really
show.
good beat.
Agreed.
Mhm.
Here, let me pick up off of that. I got Charles beat. I think it was just genius to make The Last of Us a show because it's like they masterfully left things unsaid. And that's like powerful in games when you just when your
Mhm.
world just speaks for itself. You don't have to have all the details. Because when we're running through the game in The Last of Us Part 1 with Joel and Ellie, we don't know who those Raider guys are. We don't know who they are. We just know that they're trying to kill us.
Yeah.
That's it. And then the show takes that and they give them a story. They give us Kathleen, doing stuff we didn't even know about. And it just goes to much more.
I
have a quick question. Quick question. At the end of the episode, is that who I think it is? Because if it is, I don't know if I can watch next episode.
You mean
It
episode
is.
It
4?
is.
Oh, crap.
It
It
is.
is. I
It
can't.
is.
I can't.
that's
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Already,
1,000%.
when they got into the city, when they got into the city,
Yes.
I knew they
I
were
was
going
like,
to
how
meet
did
them.
That's
we
who
get
I
here
thought about
for that
immediately.
Come and
How
get
did we
this
get
hurt.
here?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, no. Come on, man. I
But
can't.
you know what?
Here. Yeah, go ahead.
I-
Please.
Well, I'm just thinking about I forgot the lady's name. They made her up for the fourth one. I just call her Queen of Hearts because she had she had that like vibe. The lady head lady person in the 4th episode.
Oh, Kathleen. I think her
Kathleen?
name
Yeah,
is
Kathleen.
Yeah.
She's from Fried Green Tomatoes, right? That's the same woman.
Yeah. I think
Is
she's
that
Yellow
right?
Jackets as well.
Oh, but I was
I'll look it up.
that episode made me kind of realize because I was like, how does she? What I was trying to figure out, how do a person so like timid and kind, even though she's really not, be able to lead all these people? Like, why do they listen to her? And then I had to like think about it. Like, all right, in a lot of these zombie movies are like, it'll be like, all right, we're driving. I see a person who needs help. All right, I'm going to help them. All right, come with me. All right, I help someone else. Come with me. Before you know it, that come with me turns into a village of people. And then the respect level
Walking Dead
goes so high because you saved my life. You helped me to the point where we'll do anything because you get what I'm saying? Like, you became the head honcho. And I don't know, all in that episode, I got that realization from that.
And I want to talk like again about the genius of like how this was like into like how they did things they didn't have to do, like the liberties they took. I applaud them for. Like in episode 3 at the beginning, they're walking up the road and he tells Ellie, don't look, right? She looks, you see bones, right? It's like a mass open grave. And then you see like what looks like a baby blanket and then like some type of fabric. And then you're cut to learning. And this is like the world building, which I think they just web it so well. The aspect of learning that Fedra agents were rounding people out of towns and to take them to a QZ. And if the QZ was filled, they would just throw these people on the side of the road and light them up and leave them, wouldn't even bury them, just left. And a baby took the whole time. And then that's your transition to Bill. Like, it's like that.
Yes.
My own
transitions. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, okay. My only thing I was like, when I was reacting to the episode 3, right? I was like, okay, the man fell in the hole. I'm like, we still doing one night stands? And I said, you can't trust this man. You just met him.
Oh my God.
I was like, so hold on. I said that to my husband, right? And he was like, babe, the peen is a powerful thing, right? And then he said the other thing, he's like, it's been 4 years and some ass comes through. He's like, listen, I understand why the man probably did it, but I'm like, day one though, you ain't gonna learn his, he don't even know your name. Like,
oh yeah, we sure did. I was like, I know who he is, but you don't know who he is. Like,
right.
I'm glad you in safe hands, but you need to ask questions, Bill.
Hello?
William.
I know you might like the scruffy lumberjack look. Okay.
He had the look.
But let you just met him. He was in the hole, okay? And then he got in the hole.
Let's speak on that. So. I know I haven't gotten to talk about all the episodes with y'all real quick. I think what they did in episode 2 was weird. That was the one change where I was like, please stop.
I'm trying to remember.
Y'all don't remember? How do you forget?
Which changed? Which changed?
No, she said 2.
With the mouth, the
gosh, I forgot because I wanted to forget.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'll smooth that.
I'm traumatized.
That's the only change I don't like. But besides that, like them going out of their way to develop this love story with Bill and Frank.
Hold on. About that. No, let's go back.
Wait. So this was nothing new. This they talked about this in the game. They just hinted at it through a magazine, and Bill saying that that's his partner. And then when you see that like porn magazine that Ellie has, it's
in the back, and she said, "Why are the pages sticky?" I was like, "Oh no,
oh no!" Confirm this. So people getting all upset about it was ridiculous because they had already done this 8+ years ago. But please go ahead, Christine.
Back to the nastiness that you brought up, okay, about the throat kiss, all right? The way I will say that it is genius how they make, because that fungus is a real thing. They have a documentary on Netflix where you can watch it if you want to, but that is just disgusting when you see them take over the ants, okay?
The cordyceps is real, very real. They've talked about this in the
global warming is a thing, guys. This could be us.
It's gonna take a while. I feel like fungus aren't really that smart, but I get like, they've done a great job describing the fungus. I love it.
Yeah.
It's just some things you don't have to do. Like that was not. I've seen the fungus do some. This fungus was smacking people up and tearing into their necks. They could have just did that.
It's already.
I agree with you because I did not need to see that.
Right,
but it was something.
I needed it.
Something about the fact that
I needed it.
Okay, Omar. I'm gonna need you to get it together.
Sorry,
some Black History Month. I'm gonna need you to get it. Shut the whole thing down.
Stream's over, guys. See you later.
Let me sit away from you.
Oh, no.
But
Let me turn on my fan.
I felt like because I was trying to figure out why they did it.
There's no reason.
I
There's no reason.
think
But
the
that reaction-
bacteria inside of
That's the
her.
reason our reactions right now. That's the reason why they did it.
There you go.
Come
There you
on,
go.
talking
That's
about
the
it.
real answer.
No.
That's the real answer.
The bacteria was falling in love at that moment.
Yeah.
The
No.
bacteria inside of her.
They could have made it just as you know what they could have done. You know what they could have done? They could have had it grow out of its mouth and like go into her nose or eyeballs.
Nah.
No kiss involved.
It's
It
not
could
the
be
same.
just as gross. They could have did the Callisto protocol basically on that one. They really could have, but they didn't. They chose to do something weird.
Yeah.
Even the actress was like, "This is not what I expected."
That's not what I signed up for.
I didn't sign up for this.
Y'all know who made this
Omar
game.
signed up for it.
Y'all see these weird this weird white boy shit, man. We know, like, come on, y'all
I can't.
surprised.
But wait,
Yeah,
can I
whatever.
can someone
It's a hentai
explain
fan. We know. It's all right.
who was the I forgot I don't know if she was Native American or Indian or Spanish. I can't remember, but the scientist in the beginning,
Yes,
Indonesian.
South Asian,
Indonesian. Oh, South
Yeah.
Asian. Who? I was a little confused on who she is. Like, was she?
I
the
don't think
one
she's
who-
mentioned in the game. Is she
No.
mentioned in the game at all?
She's not
No.
mentioned in the game. That
Right.
it was just to let you know like what's happening worldwide because you don't know it
Okay.
as Joel and Ellie because you're in Texas.
Right.
And then you
right.
go out to you're in America.
I
So
see.
it was
Mhm.
good to
Mhm.
know like this is a world.
This
You
is the
said-
world
She
wide.
said
Problem.
nuke.
Yeah.
She said
I'm
nuke.
like,
He said, shut the whole thing
bomb.
down.
He said, "How do you solve this?" She said, "Bomb."
Yeah,
Okay.
he said. So let me go home, spend time with my family
Let me
because
go
we're
with my
dead.
family. Okay. But then also the aspect that like when she like the whole time when she's talking and she's showing all that stuff and freaking out, I was like, okay, well, this is the chick that bit some people, but they killed all the people that she bit. Okay, who bit her? Like she had a bite on her foot, on her ankle. Okay. That's what I laid as a
Okay.
bomb.
She asked.
Okay.
She said, just blow
Yeah.
it up.
So
So
that's
yeah.
okay, Omar. What you said here, like this is my thing, right? They
like, y'all got no weed whacker? Like,
they like when they had was it the first episode how it started, right?
Yeah.
Where it was like
Yeah.
the 60s TV show, right? Where the guy is like which mind you, that guy, I think that's the guy from the Mummy, right? That's the brother in the Mummy, right? That's the guy from the
Probably
Mummy?
you know better than
Yeah,
I do.
I think it is.
I think it is.
And so he's like basically saying there's no cure for it.
Yeah.
That was the 60s, okay? All right. When by the time it happened in 2003, there was still no cure. Like
Okay, so think about this. You can't cure pollen. You
Mm.
can't cure the reproductive system. That is a physical thing being expelled into the air. The only way to cure it is to eradicate it.
Mm.
You have
That's
to
why she said
destroy
blow it up.
all of it.
well,
What'd
she
you say?
meant blow up everybody. She's like, it's too
Yeah,
late. We gonna die.
Oh,
He
True.
did
There
say
was
blow up
no-
the city.
But also
Right.
in the 60s, it wasn't like the problem already happened. He was just saying,
Talking about
if it happened, it's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
But then it was like,
Basically.
well, why didn't you investigate on how to fix it? So
That's
that
my
when
thing,
something
because they're
happens-
like
Yeah, okay,
stem
that's
cell
the point.
research has been a thing for so long, right? Where they were taking, and I mean, and it became a little bit more humane, but it wasn't always like a humane type of practice. Science in general
Hella
wasn't
cells.
normally a humane type of practice to find things. They were stealing cadavers and cutting through to get. So my thing is like back then they couldn't start the premise of like, oh, let's start doing some things in the case that something might happen. Like the world is getting warmer
so we're
as he's
humans.
smoking in that man's face in that building. Like, hello.
All I can say is that we're human and we react. We don't prevent.
We don't
That's
prevent.
just human.
Yeah.
That's humans. But I want to get 2 points off real quick about that. And I'm expounding off of what you just said with humanity not preparing for imminent doom. Like we're already going through climate change. We're already dealing with our trash,
Hello.
plastics.
Mhm.
Like we
Hello.
have so many problems that
Pandemic.
we haven't even felt like the real dire situations of. So
Mhm.
I love that the show, because remember when the
Yeah.
game came out and everybody was suddenly discovering this fungus? They were like, oh my God, there's really a fungus out there that can actually infect people's brains and blah, blah, blah. And then they came back with the show
Mhm.
and they said, oh yeah, I mean, this
Hello?
fungus could probably infect us if
Wait,
climate
what about
change were a thing.
antifungal stuff? Turmeric. What about turmeric? They couldn't do nothing
They
with
could
turmeric.
have bonded with
Yo.
All
turmeric.
it does is prevent it from like, so I am not a fungal expert, but I feel like antifungal is just like meant to prevent it from like sticking or staying on places. It doesn't
Right.
destroy it. I have to do my research. Like
So if they
nobody's
get the
destroying.
turmeric,
dust.
explode an area.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
hold on.
that's my
So now,
first
hold
point.
on. A question, like any scientific people in the chat, let me know. So like if you drink turmeric tea or you take turmeric tea on a daily basis, right? And let's say you ate one of them foods, then the fungal part wouldn't have
You getting
happened to you,
fungified.
right? You would still get
No, you
fungified.
I think
did.
you're
You
still
did.
there.
You dead, baby.
I don't think immunity works like that. I don't think immunity works like that.
You're getting it.
No,
in your
it ain't no
gut.
way around this one.
Yeah, you're
But
not,
some
you're
people
breathing.
got infected
Are
and some
you
people
huffing
didn't.
turmeric? Are you
Huh?
huffing? Are you?
I mean, let me
breathing
know
in-
if I need to. If it'll save
Put
me,
it in my veins.
Turmeric, baby.
I will walk around with
Inject
golden
it.
nose forever if it'll save me. Okay.
That's so good.
Doing lines off
I
the turmeric.
I love that because when you dive into how
I
this
got a
fungus
batch
works,
in my
right?
cupboard.
When you dive into how this fungus works, they talk about this in the game as well, where the infection is actually so gruesome, and they have cutscenes that I want to share with y'all so bad right now. They're really gruesome. Like you slowly get infected by this fungus, and you are still conscious.
Oh,
And they talk about that in the game. They talk about. I hope they talk about it in the show. That's what I'm waiting on. That's why I gave it a 9 out of 10 because I'm still waiting on that moment. But then also the interactions when you're holding someone up in the game, they beg for their lives, and they did that in this episode. In episode 4, that boy Brian, him begging for his
I
life.
felt bad.
Yeah, you should, and that's
We're
how they
not
want you to
fighting
feel in the
anymore.
game.
Right. He said my
But
mom,
what-
my
but
mom.
no,
You
hold
can just
on.
take me to my mom, and she'll help me. We'll help you set you up.
Nah.
We won't hurt you anymore. And I
as
was like,
much
you should
as
have
I
thought of that
felt
before you
bad-
busted him with that gun, though. Like,
Okay, as much as I felt bad, I was like, but where was that energy?
Hello? 5 minutes ago.
Before.
If you
Because
didn't
you
come
were
in,
trying to kill
he would not have
me.
shot you.
Like,
Side note, but I did still feel bad though.
Okay, hold on, really quick. In episode 4, when because she had a gun, she like Ellie wanted a gun, and she got it right.
You had to get the gun.
Had to get the gun. I was like, what was a little uncomfortable for me was that moment in the bathroom, because I feel like that's every school thing situation out there. Them in the bathroom. Yeah, or not bathroom. I thought it was a bathroom, but when she was in that place and she was like playing with the gun, and she was like, then she sniffed it, and I was like, okay, like let's calm down.
Get it
now.
together,
Calm
girl.
down now. Like,
nah.
why are
trying
we
to live that
sniffing
life.
guns now? Hello? I was
It's
like,
the gunpowder.
is this a school situation right now? You need to breathe, okay? You need to breathe.
School's out
They
for the
have
summer
been making her a little
entirely now.
extra.
It is out for the summer.
No,
I
they have been making
mean-
her a little obsessed.
I think it's a new thing as well. Like, all right, this thing I wanted. I think she might have fired. Maybe she fired one before, and well, in the game, she knows how to use one and whatnot. So it's like, all right, I have it now.
Does she know how to use it? Because why you ain't shoot him in the head?
Well, in the game, Joel passed her the sniper rifle. He's like, "Yo, cover my 6," and she gets fucking. We didn't. I think we're past that now because in the game it would have happened already. I think before.
Well, I realized.
Yeah, they made that the moment. I thought
Yeah.
they were gonna do the actual rifle scene,
Yeah,
but instead
yeah.
they made it the
She
Glock
was-
scene.
Yeah,
She
because
was
that's in
mowing
the
them
game. He was
down.
drowning in the water, right?
Mhm.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I thought they were gonna do.
So
Instead of
yeah,
choking
yeah.
him.
That's what I thought too. I thought they were gonna, because that would have been such a cool scene
Yeah.
for them to do.
Yeah.
Really seeing Pedro almost drown, and
Yeah.
then she picks up a gun. That was really good in game. But they made that the scene, and then I think eventually they're still gonna do the rifle thing because she got caught with a gun. So I'm hoping they get that trust
Yeah,
back.
that's true.
Yeah.
But I think they did get. I feel like
At
they
the end of the
did get
episode,
it
I think
back.
they did
Yeah,
because he was
because-
like,
He was
showing
sympathetic.
her.
Did he give her the gun?
He did. He
He
gave
did.
it back.
Remember, he
He
showed her
did.
how to
Yeah.
do it and all that.
Yep.
And
Because
he
she had
told
already
her to
killed
put it
somebody.
in her back, but then she
No.
just went to like
In her
throw it in her
backpack.
bag.
Oh,
He
shoot
said
her
put it in
butt
the
off.
bag.
Bag.
Yeah.
So my captions put a CK on that instead of a G because
That's why
I
I'm
watch
custom
movies with
captions. They be
captions.
lying.
Yeah. So
Got
when
it,
it said
got it.
back, and I was like, and then he said, or else you'll shoot your
Ass
ass
Your
off.
butt
And I was
off.
like, well, if she puts it in her back, that's what's gonna happen.
That's
So why are you telling her to put it in her back? But okay.
You better keep the
All right.
safety on.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
The girl, I
actually,
was like, let's be safe, please. Let's be safe.
Yeah.
You can still accidentally
I did-
shoot Joel. Okay.
I did like in showing her. He did show like proper like gun safety. Like your hand is going to the trigger safety. Like the
Mhm.
Yeah.
gun safety. Like no finger here before then. I was like yes,
Mhm.
yes. Like
That's how you supposed to.
nuance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
good.
I will say like, this was a fire show. I love the changes. This is one of the I don't want to say first times because I'm sure it might have happened before, but one of the few times that I feel like liberties were taken, and I applaud the liberties. I think that it was done
Agreed.
well.
Yeah.
And the little quabbles I have are not that don't damage the show. Like her sniffing the gun, that was uncomfortable for me, but you know, that's okay. And then homie like, oh, I met you one day, now let's bang bang. I'm like, okay, let's calm down. Let's learn who we are and stuff like that.
That
You know?
paled in comparison to episode 2. Let's be real. That
Oof.
like, maybe they had some marketing there. They had a
I
strat.
keep forgetting about it, Chelsea. Like,
I've
why do
been
you
I've
keep
been
forgetting
erasing
that?
it,
I'm
and she
sorry.
just brings it.
The strat with episode 2 made me accept everything past that. Like I was like, nothing could be worse. Nothing.
Nothing at all.
And that was another. So I forgot I cried on that episode too, because I'm like, he didn't say no words. He just took. She said, take the girl, go, and he just took the girl. I'm like, you ain't gonna say nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Let's
Nah.
go.
Ain't no words to be said.
You know what I do feel, and I felt it in the game too. Like when they had the car for a little bit in the game, you feel like, okay, we're going somewhere. And when they lose the car, you feel that loss of, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were, you know, even though I knew it was coming,
We
but
had
like
peace.
yeah,
And now
like
we know
and then
that
it's
peace
just
is
like
gone.
back into the
Yeah.
grind again, you know, that
They
feeling.
Mhm.
recreate the scene
That was a
so
very
well.
stressful level in the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were saying, Omar?
Oh yeah, the way they've recreated the scenes, like so, I'm like, it feels just like the game. It feels
It is. It's
just
so
like
weird.
it.
It's
A lot
like
like
a
it.
weird feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, would you relate this to like Cyberpunk, like 2077, where when you if you've ever played 2077, if you watch the anime that they put out, you're looking at scenes in the game. You're
Yep.
like, oh wow, look at these. Like, is it giving you that vibe? Because I
Well-
got that more from 2077, but I'm getting more environment from
It's-
The Last of Us.
I-
Like,
That's
truly.
why I said atmosphere, because I do
It's-
feel that environment. I feel like I'm in that world when I'm watching
Mhm.
it.
Well, for Cyberpunk, it's not exactly like the game because there's no glitching happening.
Okay.
Don't.
Come
Hey,
on,
what,
come
what did you play on?
Come
Oh
on.
my
What was your platform?
Shut the whole.
I was there.
What was your platform, bro?
my
I was on the PS4 there, man.
That's the problem.
That's your reason, bro.
That's your reason.
Accessibility is the
That
problem.
was You were playing on
Last
the
year.
You played on the
No
wrong thing, man. You
One
better
and
know.
two.
You
I
better
did one.
Oh,
You
my
get that
God.
refund, huh?
My shit went.
What did
and then
you say?
My wife is streaming. The screen just went blue. And just the cursor.
So you
for
thought
now.
the problem was CD Projekt Red and not you?
I feel like it was them. I feel like that when their shit got taken off the PlayStation, it's
made
not.
it
It's me.
But
It's my
they did
fault.
listen. To be fair, they had some hand in it. Okay,
I feel bad for. I feel bad because that game was really beautiful.
Yes,
I love
yeah.
Cyberpunk.
And they
I
just
love that
didn't
game.
get the credit because it was so badly.
Yes.
it was.
Done.
Sit on my
It was badly
3080.
put together.
It was a
So
I
situation.
had my
badly put
i9
together.
12900K base boosted. Playing that game, I was running it smooth.
That's the thing.
Frames per
That's the
second.
thing,
Going
like-
smooth. Can't stop me. You want to go night night? Because I'm going Cyberpunk. How you
There
feeling?
was so many
With your
glitches
15
going
frames.
on. So many.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They caught a stray.
game.
That was sorry about that, y'all.
They did catch
But
a
yeah.
stray. Like they wasn't even part of the conversation.
Like they was chilling.
They're making things better now,
Like,
Chelsea.
it was
okay,
no
they're working
need.
on it, Omar.
It's been great for
Cyberpunk
me
was
from day
fantastic.
one. I don't have financial issues.
I mean,
so
can we back the
Say
bus
it
off
with
of
your
their back?
chest,
Go
Chelsea.
ahead,
Say it
Chelsea.
with your chest.
I got the
kidding.
5. I'll never put that back
Oh,
in. I'll
God.
never put it. Never. No, I ain't going
Oh.
back. I made it out. I made it out.
Get out! You're funny. You're funny. as heck.
Oh,
man.
can't go back. Yeah,
It's like
so
that. They did that. They did that with The Last of Us. They did that.
yeah,
Yeah.
amazing
Yeah, it's-
show.
it's- it's
I have no
fantastic.
doubts for the season. My only thought, I wouldn't even say it's truly a concern, but I'm interested to see the pacing, right? How much of the game are we getting in season 1? How much of the game are we getting in season 2? You know,
Yes.
because a lot of, like, you guys kind of touched on this, JCutt and Chelsea earlier, the aspect of like being a TV show versus a movie.
Yes.
Either way, sometimes pacing is a huge problem. We all remember the Avatar movie, Not the blue people. I'm talking about the Avatar Last
Yeah.
Airbender movie.
Yeah.
Don't bring
Yeah.
that up. either.
Wait,
Y'all
what
choose
movie?
to remember that?
What movie?
What?
Y'all
I
didn't
didn't
even
even see it.
Listen,
and I hate
I've been
it.
This
to
is
movie
the stream where
theaters.
we
What
bring up things you forgot.
Listen.
Remember that
Yeah,
movie?
basically.
They made a movie.
I've been to the movie theater many times. That is the only movie I've ever got my money back.
How did you do
got
that?
your movie
Like,
back?
Did you just
You-
have to
you
tell
can-
it?
money back.
I had to tell-
Literally, and I was in high school. Whenever it came out, we were young. I literally went to you go
Some
to
of us are
people,
young.
and if you
Some of
say
us
you don't like it,
Oh,
I didn't enjoy this, they won't give you your money back. They give you a free ticket
Okay.
for another movie.
You got your money
From-
back.
okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
the money
yeah.
back. 'Cause you're gonna go back
Yeah,
to the
you
movie
got
theater.
your money
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Because I was like, what disaster did I just
Hey.
watch?
I
I
wish
don't
I knew
normally
that
do
after I
this.
saw Pain and Gain. I would have got my ticket money back.
You can
'cause
get
Pain and
it
Gain.
back. You just have to talk to them.
Well, it's too late now. It's like a
Yeah,
decade
no.
away ago. They'd be like Pain and Gain. Like,
But wait, can I say something about the pacing? Because that was a little bit of my fear with the fourth
Mhm.
episode. Before watching, I was like, all right, the third episode was like a smash. Everybody's talking about it. And it technically was a little slower, but I'm like,
yes.
are they gonna come back? Are they gonna do? And I think they did. I think they came back well, but I was worried that how you get back into the show, if that makes sense, with the fourth one. And I'm also hoping for the future ones that we get at least like 2 more episodes like the third one, in a sense of like, let's break away for a second.
And
focus
then like
on
some
this.
history and
Episodes
stuff.
are
Yeah.
At least
Wonderful.
2 more, I think,
Yeah.
would be a good like.
Right. I like that because the first show to actually do something like that was what's the name of it? What's the one that came before? Arrow. Arrow used to do that.
Woo!
Arrow was
Arrow.
really, when it
Never
first
seen it.
started, the first few seasons of Arrow were really good because it played in the present and the past.
Mhm.
And they
Yeah.
did it so well. Then everybody was doing it. Revenge started doing it. A bunch of these other shows. It became the template for shows for a while. And I want them to do that where they keep doing these like dip backs and we get
I
a
like
little
that.
bit more information and depth that we didn't
Mhm.
get in the game. I do hope that from who we saw at the end of season or of episode 4, I hope that conclusion doesn't happen next episode. I hope we get at least
I don't think
maybe
With Sam and
an
Henry.
episode or so. Yeah.
Yeah, with them, I
I
think
hope we have a couple episodes before.
we have to.
I
have
think
a
when
couple
we get the
episodes.
full
Hoping.
episode of them, though, if it isn't the next one, I think the world's
That's
gonna
how
really
that's my
feel
heart.
that
Let's
way.
not talk about it. We'll
Yeah,
talk about
yeah.
it when it happens. When it happens,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about it.
When it
No, no, no.
happens.
Yeah.
Ooh, my heart.
It's gonna.
I'm not
That's
ready.
what's gonna break me. I thought the beginning hurt, but I know that is gonna like
Mm.
crush me.
Can I
That's
say
no
one
crush.
last thing on that for
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Last of Us? I do wonder because you haven't beaten The Last of Us yet.
No, but I got like really, really far in where I thought the game was over, but then it was kept going. I was like, oh, there's more.
And-
Okay.
and you haven't played The Last
Wait.
of Us. You haven't played The Last of Us 2 yet?
I didn't play the second one.
I'll say it after because I want to spoil
Okay.
something. That's why.
Well, you can't, 'cause I know-
Omar,
I
I
know,
think
like-
we're here with something, but
Well,
Yeah,
no, I
yeah.
want you to, I
like
want
we're
you
here
to,
with
I want you to say it because I know like what happens in the second. I mean, are we
okay.
against spoiling the second game? I mean, it's been out for a long
it's
time.
not even that. I'll just say because you already passed that part with the brother. I would say like I have a question of like, okay, how a lot of people of color and black people didn't make it out too well in The Last of Us.
I
Man.
wasn't gonna go there, but okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
no. So
is it
I
gonna be
played
the
I
same
played the
or-
conclusion of Sam and Henry's story.
Yeah.
Like I played the
There's
conclusion.
more.
I got to the point where you were with the brother, then you left the brother, then
Mhm.
you're off, and then they're in the future even more. Remember in the game there was like a time jump, and like for another
Mhm.
year or something, because
Mhm.
after you go through the facility
Yeah.
and you make it when you make it where you're supposed to go, and then I was like, oh, the game, the conclusion, or it's done. And then it's like, oh no, there's more, and then stuff happened. It was 2020, and I stopped. But like, I got really, really far into the game where I feel like I might have been close to the ending of this game. But
Oh
My-
god, that
I wonder-
ending is what blew everybody up.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
question is, do you think because from what I didn't see the
Yanni,
full second.
Yanni, hush up, okay?
Whatever.
Hush up, Yanni.
But I didn't. What she say?
I'm sorry.
Oh, shit.
I won't this week though because
Like, go on
her
ahead,
part
just
came-
going on
Hogwarts
ahead.
Legacy came out, so I'm just gonna be playing that. So it'll be a while.
And
Okay?
I'll be
It'll
watching.
a while.
I'll be watching you play. No, so I'm because the second game,
Mhm.
the main guy, I don't know anyone's names. The main guy is not in it as much, but he's a sensation
For a reason.
But in this one, well, yeah, I know the reason, but I feel like I feel like they're gonna change that because everyone loves him the actor so much.
Right.
I wonder because
You
we've
think they're
seen
gonna
stuff
do
like
that?
that happen, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean,
then
maybe
really
with
quick,
that-
one thing my husband was telling me is that a lot of people, because I tried to stay too much away from a lot of the reviews because I hadn't watched it before yesterday because of time and sick and all that stuff, right? But he was saying how a lot of people are upset because you see Bill in the game, right? But in the episode, you know, as we've concluded, well, it's perceived that he died, but again, but you don't see him again after. So if he died, he died, and I think it was a beautiful
it
death.
don't
He got
even
to grow
matter.
old, you know.
Right.
But some people are upset because it wasn't like the game. Actually, I kind of feel like some people might be playing like that's the reason, but that ain't the reason they actually
It's
upset.
not.
But we all know the reason.
They just haters.
But yeah,
Let that
but
man
it's
have a
okay.
good ending. Let him
Hello?
be happy.
That broke me. That broke me.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't do it.
Mm-mm.
I would have been able to do that. I'd be like, I'm sorry. You have to do it yourself.
Okay.
I can't do. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna be a bubble.
I'll help you. I'll help you drink up.
I don't have the strength. I don't have the strength at all.
I'll take you to the
Yeah.
bed, but then I'm gonna just leave you in there and then walk out.
What if they do? So since we know how the game goes, and you've even gone through the time skip, what if they just explore that time skip?
I think that'd be great. I
I
think
just
we
feel
need
like that
that.
might be a lot.
If they
in this.
really are trying to milk, you know, having
If they do
A-star
it well,
talent,
it could be great.
I think
hey,
they do
it's-
it well.
I mean,
My
we
question
love
is-
on the road shows are great, right? Like you just have one goal, we're trying to get somewhere, and they just stretch that out. I mean,
But
there's
how
a
many
year.
episodes are they doing?
Hold on, that's
this
the thing.
season?
Okay, so they better not Walking Dead it, okay? Because the Walking Dead archetype,
Yeah, I
because
think
you have
that's
Walking Dead and
impossible.
you have Dragon Ball Z, right? They have a similar archetype that they just kept doing. All right,
Yeah.
Walking Dead, they're in a town, something happens, they get run out of the town, they go to a new town, there's a big bad, they get rid of the big bad, they're in that town, something happens, they got to move to another town. Then people, if they just stayed in one town, they would have been all right, but they was moved from town to town to town. So if they don't have repetitive, redundant writing in that
That's true.
amount of time, then that's good.
I have mixed
Yes.
feelings about that because as much as I agree with that, but that's kind of life though. Like life happens
life,
like that.
yeah.
Like, you know, you're in a situation, but I think your point is if they're just hopping around kind of from problem to problem, but every time you move,
Give it reason. It
Yeah,
better not
I
be.
think
If,
that's-
so my
yeah.
thing is, don't let it be just a bunch of filler. If
Right.
I want to see like purpose. I want to see
Yeah.
the plot moving forward. Because in episode 3, the plot didn't really move forward, but they did it well. They did it
Yeah.
such a great way of kind of taking those liberties, right?
That's true.
If they, in that block of time when they have that time jump, give us, I do want to know, like, what were they doing during that time? Like, what happened? Like, things are different, yes. But if it's just like filler, if it's a season of that, we've had shows with seasons of that. And then what happens? A season or 2 after, the show is canceled because that season did so bad and they could not recover. So
I
they
see
just
the
have to be
comment in the
mindful.
chat. Has it been confirmed that there's only going to be 2 seasons? Because then what about? Well, I need to.
It better be
finish the
more than
second
2
game.
seasons.
I
Are
gotta
they
finish the
gonna-
second game.
Jordan had a theory that you do the 2 seasons and then they drop the 3rd game.
I was just about to.
That's what I was.
just about to say that.
Yeah. So season part 2 does end in a way that there could be a 3rd game. Correct.
I can't.
Yeah.
remember.
I
Okay,
didn't
hold on.
finish
So
it.
I want to counter with this question. How many episodes did they say will be in this first season?
That's what I'm trying to figure
I
out.
think it's
9.
10.
Because if it's like 10,
The
it's
screen
9.
count is
Alright,
9.
4.
I think it's 10 is the final.
It might be 10 then.
okay.
Here, let
So
me
if it's
see.
10,
You could probably get
That-
your 1 year in an episode if it's 10.
I think it's
wait.
9.
So is 2 seasons supposed to be the first game, or is it 1 season per game?
I think 1 season per game.
Well,
Unless you
it's too much. And
if you're
unless we're-
doing it right, it's 1 season per game.
unless we stop off at a certain point where a certain thing happens.
But I
to
think
the
that
goal.
wouldn't
So like,
be
maybe that might be
safe.
cliffhanger, and then the
I
rest
think
of
the
season
only
1 and 2.
valid, the only valid
Mhm.
things they could do is that year gap. They explore that for half of a season,
Mm.
and then they extend another part of a season. So it's like 2 seasons, but really 1.5.
Mhm.
That's really
Mm.
all, because then you see how
I
they
gotta
could go. They end
They could
the
really
season.
come
Yeah,
out, come back.
yeah,
in like
they
that.
end this season after the whole Henry and Sam thing. Then they go into that year of running. They start the next season
9.
with them running and trying to find that place. They go across a whole, so it's like the Walking Dead style.
Yeah.
And then they end how The Last of Us Part 1 ended for season 2. So
But they
you
better
have
not do that.
time.
That's gonna make me
My
angry.
heart.
Yeah, that
My
would.
heart.
It's
Give me
they
My
both.
heart.
had that, but
I'm not emotionally ready for this. I'm not emotionally
money's
ready.
money, you know.
But
Like
can I
they,
say
I
Yeah.
can
something
easily
too?
see them doing it.
Can I say something about this whole thing? What I love
You'll
about
say this,
this,
and then we'll end up.
okay, there's one thing I love about Last of Us is that it's not really about the zombies as much as I
Mhm.
like a zombie
Mm.
situation. I like that it's really like one about the girl, but also like how do they deal with this time, this 20-year gap of time of living this type of in this new world after this
Yeah.
whole zombie breakout. Which usually we don't get that with zombie movies. It's always the zombies is the main character, and then everything else is happening around it. Whereas I feel like
Right.
it's flipped on its head with Last of Us.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
the another character in this game, I mean not game, this movie, but I mean show, it's based on a game, whatever, y'all know what I'm saying, is the environment, the world. And I
Yes.
think they do it so well, and I love it. I will say that like I think that the execution is very like done very well as long as they keep the train moving and we don't run into a Game of Thrones last season type of situation, then I think
no.
that this show is
I don't think they'll do
secure and is
You could
good
tell.
because
Yeah, you could tell they care too much for them to do that. Like those were
Yeah.
you know how Game of Thrones ended with they didn't have material.
them heifers
were-
they got to deal with Star
Yeah.
Wars, and then they raced the ending. Then they got fired from
Mhm.
Star Wars, and the last season of Game of Thrones was crap.
They were
okay.
they were toxic. They
remember.
needed to stay out. But
Mhm.
I think I'm glad that you talked about the environment being a character, like that's a character in the world, because there's one complaint that I had. I really wish they'd have stuck with. I like how they expanded on what the fungus could do, but in the original game they were spores.
Mhm.
And that's how it becomes
Yeah.
worldwide. And
Mhm.
I
Yep.
really feel like they did miss out on more material, not including that they had to mask up. Or
Yes.
if you
But that's-
opened a door,
Yes.
But they could
if you open the
possibly
door,
they could possibly still do that though.
You know why it's
no,
hard though?
I think they said that they weren't
Yes.
doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, they
Oh.
said
Oh.
specifically, and that was so annoying to read because I'm like, it's so easy to do.
But, well,
Like you can, go ahead, go
no,
ahead.
no, no, you
Omar.
finish. You finish.
I just find the horror already. This fungus is horrifying, so
Wow.
painful. A horrible transformation that you have to go to be a clicker.
I'ma
It's
sniff turmeric
already
tonight.
scary. Get your turmeric, but then
Yeah.
also, how scary it is to open a door and you don't know what's growing under your feet. Like people were
Hold
walking
on, really
into
quick.
this
What was
fungus.
that? What was that? In
I
episode
was trying
4?
to get
You'll see. You'll see.
Oh, I will see. Okay.
You'll see.
Oh yeah, the floor thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
you said growing
Do
under
you
the
see
floor.
it in the game?
I'm like,
I don't
Yeah.
remember that in the
you
game.
do. I think
You
you
see-
do
you do.
see.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you do see it in the game.
don't
I was
remember.
Yeah.
speculating though.
I think it was
Yeah.
in the game. I think it was.
They
I
said
know
this-
it was taught. I remember them mentioning in the game about something growing underneath. I just don't remember a moment.
I can't sleep tonight now, y'all guys. I'm just
It was
Also, I don't respect. Okay, going back to the lady, I
Wait,
don't
hold on,
respect
Omar.
her.
Omar, you were trying to say something.
Oh,
Omar,
yeah.
what were you
and
gonna say?
you talk about this
Sorry.
because you said it yourself.
No,
like,
you're fine, you're fine.
spores spread and whatnot. They're not stationary, so that in a game you can come up and see them, like kind of like glistening, whatnot. Like, all right, trying to mask up. Whereas in real life, like it's spreading. It's not like it's over there. It's diffusion. It's already gonna come and get you. So like that's why we couldn't
Yeah.
It wouldn't
And the
be
budget, I get that makes
sense.
sense. The
I
budget
personally-
to
I
put them
think-
everywhere.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. With that, I still think they could have respected biology, science, and still done spores. Because while spores aren't stationary, they have an area of effect.
Mhm.
You have to inhale a certain amount of spores for it to infect you. So
Right.
that's why those areas were dangerous. And that's why clickers were dangerous, because they spread it with a bite.
Mhm.
And because they're growing these spores, they become moving spores.
Right.
So it's,
Right.
I just,
They
I
might
just
save
really
it for the
feel
second
like-
Teach me,
season.
teach me, not teach me.
biology, because they really were smart with the mycelium.
What we need
like,
to teach is how we can arm ourselves. Okay, there's turmeric and
You don't understand it,
antifungal.
Christine.
Yeah, spread out
Right?
that
You
turmeric.
understand it?
Somebody.
you
Hello?
gotta understand it, because with mycelium, that's a really smart move, because then you can explain how it travels, because they
Yeah.
have a root system. They go under cities. That's smart.
But see,
But
that's
then
why I ain't like
also-
them sleeping on the ground in the thing. I'm like, y'all
Yeah.
ain't scared
Yeah.
it's gonna grow out
But
the
also
ground
when they were
on 'em?
growing, when they were growing fruits and veggies, I was like, "Are we okay with this?
Do we
Like,
want to
this
eat
is
these
okay,
strawberries? Like, yeah,
right? I don't know.
Right.
Like, also, we didn't wash these strawberries, and we're about to have sex on these strawberries. What are we doing?
They would.
They were fresh strawberries, Christine. They were
Wait a minute.
I have sex on
Here's
the
struggling.
strawberries, Christine.
Full
Oh,
circle.
yeah, there's some strawberries for.
That's that. No, them. They was just that. Listen, they was just like anytime, anywhere. They ate them strawberries. They were giggling, and then started making
You
out.
love it.
And they about to on the strawberries. Let's calm down now.
I'm like, folks dying
Oh my
outside. Y'all over here
God.
giggling.
Giggling on strawberries about to
Giggling
have
on
sex.
strawberries.
You see how you swap the material and it makes it a little harder to explain when it was perfect in the game. Like spores in game were perfect. It made sense.
Yeah. Okay, let's do. So that was our review of episode 3 and 4. Awesome review. Awesome conversation. Like period. Yeah, this is great. I mean, Chelsea, if you want to do the rest of the show with us, like the rest of the season of the show, let me know. I mean, I'll hit you out, okay? But
Walking Dead crew right here.
I'll DM you, girl. Okay?
I respect
I'll DM you, girl. Okay, all right. So, yeah, I mean, like, don't offer time if it's just to be. You know, some people do it just to be cordial. Don't do it to me because I'll ask you, like, okay, so next week, all right, gotcha.
Next week,
I'm with it.
I'll let you know.
All right. So, we're gonna end out. Before we do have one or two ask the audience questions that the interns got for us. We didn't get to do it last week, so I definitely want to tap into them this week. Ask the audience, where you guys can tweet us or Instagram respond or community tab respond, but I forgot to put in the community tab today, so I'm sorry. But we asked you guys to ask us questions, and you send them in, and then we put them through. So we have the first question, which is from number 1 Swifty. What are your opinions on popular series and movies getting spinoffs? Do you think the show / movie should die? That's a strong word. Or should the story be dove more into? Okay. Let's try really quickly, because we are way over time. This is it was a wonderful conversation. The DCU slate talk. We'll move that to next week. We can't talk about that this week. We ain't got no time now. We gotta go.
Can I come back next week as well? Because I want to talk about that.
Yes, you can, Omar. All right.
How do y'all feel? What do y'all feel about them shows taking an L?
I have mixed feelings about that because as an artist who likes fan art, that's me redoing someone else's thing. And sometimes it's like one person will make, all right, let's say, for instance, I love The Wizard of Oz, right? So one person might make a rendition. We saw The Wiz, which is my favorite movie of all time. But then if I want to remake it because it was I think they are. I have the power to direct and produce a movie. To everyone else, it's like, we already saw it. But to me, I want to do my version of it. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
I will say that I do kind of share that understanding. I understand as an artist, as a creator, being a fan of something and wanting to create, especially if it was a property that you couldn't see yourself in, right? I mean, we did have The Wiz, we did it, but still, I can understand, I can understand that. I think Kenya Barris, they're working on another Wizard of Oz or Wiz like movie. So I understand being a fan of something and taking it under your wing and doing it. I guess I would say if we've already had it a few times, then let's try to see how we can implement bits of this story or the path of this story in a different way, in a new way, and with new people versus something. I don't mind if they have like one remake or 2 remakes, but some things have been just remade and remade and remade and remade and remade. And it's like, okay, now we can let it rest. Titanic. We don't need it to come back. 25th anniversary, 50th anniversary. The boat sank. I'm sorry. It's gone.
You're right. It wasn't that crazy.
Dang. look, they died. It's over.
R.I.P.
Yep.
Namaste. Okay.
Woo, Lord.
All right. Next question. This is from Luis Rodriguez. If you guys had to choose one console to play with for the rest of your life, what console would it be? I'm going to go with Omar first. Go ahead, really quick.
Damn. I guess I'm going with the PlayStation 5 the entire time. So I can just do Ghost of Tsushima. It's just going to be Ghost of Tsushima. It's just going to be Ghost of Tsushima.
One console, one game.
That's it.
All right, Kesa, what about you?
I'm going to say PlayStation 2 because all my JRPGs that got me into gaming were in the PlayStation era. So yeah, give me that PlayStation 2.
Awesome. JCutt?
Well, I'm not a gamer anymore, but I used to be. And then you went that far back. So I'm going to say a GameCube just because I really like Monkey Ball.
Hey,
I think I was really good at Monkey Ball too.
Monkey Ball, yeah.
So I would have to say a GameCube.
Okay. Chelsea?
I love that. I mean, come on, PlayStation 5, of course. Like, you can play everything. All I need is God of War.
That is true.
Oh,
that is true.
Oh wow!
Did you forget? You
That
forgot?
is true.
Did you beat it yet?
Omar, did you
I'm,
forget?
I'm asking, did you beat it yet? Did you beat?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
I'm still
You said,
Tsushima. I'm still
you said,
Tsushima.
ooh, like you forgot. That's why I
No.
was concerned.
I'm still Tsushima.
Okay,
I'm
good,
still
good.
no.
Yeah, I played both.
Because I remember. I forget.
Yeah.
So for me, it would, out of nostalgia, I want to say N64. Okay. And like, I feel like N64 changed the game. Okay. But I understand PS5 and I might want to say PS5. But how about this? A fusion PS5, but if you could play like PS5 graphic Nintendo games on the PS5, that would be a world. I think
like you
war
asking
would
for too
end.
much.
That's a
Tell
lot.
Nintendo to come on. Tell Nintendo
I'm
to
with
get
you,
together if
Christine.
you want
Mario
PlayStation
scores
5
in
graphics.
HD.
You
I don't wanna
can't
see
mix it up.
I'm not
Like,
gonna tell you
give me
that
the
like it's
Nintendo games with the juice.
Nintendo gamers over there like, can I get a little bit of graphics?
I want Zelda Breath of the Wild on 4K graphics, like 4K quality. That is, the world would, like, listen, wars would end. We'd be at peace. We'd be able to sniff turmeric and be okay. Like,
Not snitching.
Maybe we could actually play Pokemon
Blood
correctly.
and honey.
Nintendo,
You know?
you know what you need to do.
let me
Way back
dream,
games
Chelsea.
quickly.
Let me dream. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for coming through tonight. Really quickly, tell the people where they can find you. And if you have anything to shout out, let them know. We'll start with you, Chelsea.
Hey everybody, I'm the resident crap talker who talks way too much. Thank you for having me today. This may be my last day. I got everybody tonight. You can check me out on Chelseabytes everywhere. I build tech. I build PCs and talk too much. Thank you.
I'm JCutt. You can find me. I have JCutt Productions on my YouTube channel, Instagram. I think on Twitter is the only one where it's JCutt Designs because somebody took it. But anyway, everywhere else is JCutt Productions. If you need custom work, go to jcutt.com. You can get yourself a custom logo, design, whatever type of stuff you need. I'm doing rugs now.
Yes.
You can't see it, it's small.
Oh,
But
yeah,
anyway.
I saw you were working on an Eagles rug.
Yeah, I did because I'm from Philly. I'm not even in the sports, but we're going to the Super Bowl. So
Listen, don't let Giants hear you because you in New York. Okay.
I know. Let me be
the
quiet.
Eagles
If I
are the-
get shot or something out here. But yeah, so go to jcutt.com. It's a lot of fun stuff there.
Trust you with my life.
My name, Omar Holman, real name, no gimmicks. Just type me in Google, I'll appear. You also see me at Black Nerd Problems. You just type that name in at blacknerdproblems.com. We have a website, we got Instagram, whatnot. We're talking about nerdy things. I'm on my wife's Twitch stream, DJ Dimple_BK. I'm a mod in Tiffy's Twitch stream, Tiffy Star Child.
Tiffy.
Yeah, so I'm everywhere and nowhere at once. That's hip hop.
That's hip hop.
ProKesadia. You guys can follow me everywhere: Instagram, TikTok, and on Twitch, where you will see me every day except on Thursdays because my brother need a break. But make sure to have the underscore in there, and come through, check out all video games, every manner of video games, and we talk about anime and all that stuff. And we'd love to have you there. So you already know, we appreciate y'all.
Wonderful. And thank you so much for coming. Oh, yeah. I'm Christine.
Yes.
You can find me everywhere. Yeah. You can find me everywhere. iChristine Games. And here on the PartyChat podcast, we're here every Monday. This week, I will be playing Hogwarts Legacy. It has been a dream come true since I was a child to do this and to be able to make my skin tone and a hairstyle and be in this game magically transported. I got to do the hands-on experience and I literally had a tear in my eye. And I told the guy next to me, I promise I'll try not to cry.
So what's it like to finally have a good Harry Potter game?
It's so there's something I don't want to spoil something, but I'm gonna stream it, so it's kind of a spoiler. But NDA. Oh, NDA thing. Shout out to Warner Brothers Games for letting me play the game and have access to the game early, and get those disclosures out. Get those disclosures out. WB Games, shout out to you. And I got to meet the team, and they were amazing people. They're you could tell they are true fans of Harry Potter, right? And what it meant to them. And it's the story, it means a lot to a lot of people, right? And for me specifically, quick side bit, actually, this is not the place. This is not the time or place. I'll say it on my stream. I'll see y'all later. Catch all these awesome people where they are. And we out. Out here telling secrets.